Let's go.
Here I stand, light-footed at the edge of the world, unchained, untethered, the soles of my feet barely touching the ground. Gravity's become cloudy now. Nothing is holding me back anymore. In truth, only one thing would, always was and is and always be, my choice alone that ever could. For what I choose to surround will either free or bound, and the choice for either one is within me found. Here I stand now, no longer suited, ready to leave the world. I'm unrestrained, unfettered, the tip of my toes only skimming the ground. Gravity is losing me now. One by one, they all fell away. Everyone and everything for that season it seemed. The tragic hero was I, with every scene just suffering. My hands were scorched and my feet set afire by who and what I held and where I long stood. But I breathed my last sigh, raised my gaze to the sky. I ascend now within to my good. Here I am now, lighthearted, no longer part of the world. I'm reclaimed, reconnected, the side of the ground can no longer be found. Gravity has no claim on me. Gravity, imaginary. Here I am, lighthearted, no longer part of the world. I'm reframed, recalibrated, and what is the ground? It's just a word, only sound. Gravity doesn't exist for me. Everything
It's imaginary.
is imaginary.
Bum, 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 bum. All right. Welcome back, everyone. I was able to get myself a really nice breakfast. I made 2 fried eggs, cooked the whites. The yellow was perfect. It was so perfect. I cooked them. So I'm good at cooking eggs. I've cooked eggs every single morning for such a long time. George, welcome to you. Good morning to you. Daryl says the fruit looked good. Yes, it is. One of my neighbors brought me 2 apples from the local orchard. We have apple orchards here, 3 orchards close together. And I was going to actually go there yesterday and I forgot. I got busy with some other things. But when I came home from the supermarket, there was a bag hanging on my back door and there were 2 apples inside. I know that is from my neighbor. They're so kind. I took them some cookies from the milk farm. There's a local milk farm, and they make cookies and some other things. And I gave them some cookies the other day because I knew that they had their grandchildren visiting, and we're always exchanging things. They always leave some eggs, some local eggs, or some local apples, or they even made me some homemade sushi one day. Can you believe that? It's it's awesome living out here in the countryside in Japan, you know? People just show up out of nowhere and bring you some local food. It's always great. Marduk says, glad Detroit won, bumped them Submariners. Yeah, I was surprised. That series is even, so I'll be back with you guys for game 5 Saturday. We've got at least one game 5 to do on Saturday. For all of you, it'll be Friday, but for me, it's Saturday. So we got one more game to do in that series. That series is tied 2-2. The Tigers just completely wiped them out. Chris says my daughter's brother-in-law is Canadian and a big Blue Jays fan. I'm supporting the Jays in this game. No Stank fan here. Well, I picked the Blue Jays to win. I'm surprised that the Yankees were able to come back, but like I said, if not for Aaron Judge, they wouldn't be in this game today. It would have been a sweep. It'd be like the Astros in the playoffs if Jordan is in the game, but he's not showing up. The Astros would struggle, right? But when Aaron Judge shows up, it gives them a chance. It was a good game, though. It seemed like it was going to go the Mariners' way for a while, but when it got into the middle of the game, suddenly it just turned. It's really funny because the starting pitcher for the Mariners, he gave up a hit, and then the coaches came out to the mound and had a little talk on the mound with the pitcher, and all of the infield came in. The very next batter, they scored a run, and then they decided to go ahead and take the pitcher out. And then the Tigers scored more runs. And then later on, they brought in another pitcher. The Tigers scored more runs. And they brought in another pitcher. The Tigers scored more runs. It's like every single decision that the Mariners coaches made cost them runs. It was hilarious. Well, the reason I say milk farm is because the literal name of the local dairy, it's called Tom's Milk Farm. That's literally what it's called. But they have several different types of animal there, and they make all sorts of products. They have like a kind of a gelato. They also have, of course, milk, yogurt. They have some pudding and some custard. They also sell local deer meat and wild boar meat, because we have too many wild pigs and deer around here. So you might not know this about Japan, but everybody thinks that in Japan guns are outlawed. You can't have a gun. That's not completely true. You can go through a training and get a license to have a gun and become a hunter. And so to be a hunter in Japan is different than in America. In America, you become a hunter, and it's all about not just going out and shooting animals and processing them and having meat at home, but it's also about sport, right? It's not just pure sport, but at the same time, it's not just for feeding your family. And a lot more people do it, and it's easy to get a hunting license. But in Japan, you have to go through special training, then you can get a license to be a hunter. And it's not very common, but it can be done. And then you can get a license to get a gun. And the reason is because in several areas of Japan, they have certain animals that have overrun the area. And so in this area, deer are one of the animals that are just everywhere. I kid you not, every single night you can hear the deer out here behind the house, on the either side of the house, across the way, out in the front of the house. Every single night you can hear deer, and that's not an exaggeration. You can hear them. If you've never heard a deer make those sounds that they make, and stuff that sounds like that. If you've never heard them make these sounds, the first time I heard it was a couple of years ago when I first came out here, and it unnerved me because I'd never heard deer make sounds before. But there are so many of them out here. There's so many deer out here. It's ridiculous. Sometimes I see them in my yard. A deer woke me up a few nights ago because he was right here behind my house making a ton of noise, and I just suddenly woke up. It took me a moment to realize what was going on. But yeah, if you do a search for Tom Milk Farm in Japan, you'll find the milk farm is actually here in Toyosaka. Toyosaka town is the town that belongs to Hiroshima City, and I live in the countryside of Hiroshima, and Toyosaka Town is the literal name of the local place where I live. Yeah, they do. You're right. Absolutely, Chris. And the first time I heard a deer, I kid you not, I I drove out to my house. It was late at night. It was dark, and I parked very close to the field, which is overgrown, and next to the field is a forest, and the forest goes up the mountain. There's a small mountain here, and as soon as I get out of my van, I was listening to music and driving, and then suddenly I get out of the van. It's in the middle of nowhere, right? It's completely dark, completely quiet. There's no sound at all. And as soon as I get out and I start walking around the backyard towards my house, I start hearing these deer nearby. And I was like, what the heck is that? It scared the crap out of me. I hurried into my house, and then I recorded it with my phone and I posted it on one of my YouTube channels asking my subscribers, "Do you know what this sound is?" And they were like, "Oh, that's deer." Really? George Springer is at the plate. We are started. Man, this apple is so good and cold. I'm glad that I put it in the fridge last night. One ball, no strikes to George Springer. I thought that might have been in there. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. Cam Schlittler is on the mound today. Hey, all the way out to the wall. That's going to be a double for Springer. Finally, Springer comes through with a big hit for the Blue Jays. By the way, I'm making a prediction about this game. I think that the Blue Jays are going to light up Schlittler today. It's just my feeling. It's my gut feeling. I was just about to say that whenever Springer hits this double all the way out into the corner. Landon says, I'm ready to win again. Best of luck to you, Landon. Best of luck. Do you have any interesting things to say today? I wonder. Here comes the first pitch to Nathan Lukes. He hits this one out to center field. Should be easily playable by Grisham. Springer does tag, but Grisham brings it in. It wasn't a very deep hit, so he'll stay at second base. The Tigers and the Mariners will move to a Game 5 the day after tomorrow. I hope you can all join me for that. I will schedule that game later. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., the bane of the Yankees, is at the plate. Here's the first pitch. 97 in the top of the zone, strike one. Forgive me for eating during the broadcast. I was a little rushed to cook my eggs and bacon. I want to finish this apple. Swing and a miss, 93-mile-per-hour cutter on the outside. 0-2 is the count. Springer at second base with one out. Another thing is that I have Tanuki, the Japanese raccoon dog. That's hit into the right field corner. They're going to wave George Springer around. It feels weird kind of calling him just George. Blue Jays are going to have a run. Opposite field hit by Guerrero. 1-0 right off the bat, Blue Jays. Woo, barely fair. Barely fair. Runner on first with one out. Barger at the plate takes a big swing and a miss at that one. Addison Barger, 1 for 7 in this series. Where's his overall average? Overall average is just 143. That's not good. He hits that one hard to right field, and it's going to drop in. Guerrero should be able to go over to third, no problem, and he does. Another single. Wow, Schlittler is getting lit up. That's 3 hits against Schlittler this inning. Runners on the corners with 1 out. And that brings Alejandro Kirk to the mound. Ninth pitch of the inning for Schlittler. 99 in the very bottom of the zone. Strike 1 to Kirk. 3 for 13, batting .231. Here comes the pitch. 98 miles an hour, fouled high and back. Is it going to be playable? It is. He has just enough room to put it away. Austin Wells catches that for out number 2. Got it right by the Yankees dugout. Dalton Varsho at the plate. Varsho's batting .583. He has been lighting up the Yankees. He's been quite hot. 1.949 OPS. Insane. And .583 batting average. He's had such a great postseason. First pitch from Schlittler on the way. That's hit out into left field. It might drop. Is he going to be able to get there? He makes a catch. Bellinger with a great sliding catch right there at the foul marker, the foul line. Look at this catch. Wow. It was barely fair, but he was able to catch it. That saved another run. But the Yankees get one. Very quick 3 hits and 1 run scored. We go to the bottom of the first, 1-0 Blue Jays. Trent Grisham is due up first for the Yankees, followed by Aaron Judge and Cody Bellinger. Lewis Varland is going to be on the mound for the Yankees. We'll see how he fares today. I appreciate everyone being here today. Got about 22 people watching, 23. It's going up slowly. We'll see how it grows. See how it grows. I've been paying a little attention to the Cubs-Brewers game. It's in the top of the 6th, or it's going into the bottom of the 6th right now, but it's 4-2 Curbs. Brewers need to get their act together so they can shut the Cubs down. Yep, that was a great catch. Saved a run. I know that the Rockets are playing, right? Playing the Jazz, is that right? Starting about 42 minutes. Yeah, I can't cover this game because I'm covering the playoffs. I'm giving focus to the playoffs right now. But there are some live streams with the scoreboard and the updates. I'll be keeping track of that as it comes along. Louis Varland facing Trent Grisham. Bottom of the first. Here we go. 99 right in there. Strike one. A little bit of heat. Little Tabasco on that. Next pitch in the dirt, basically. Almost in the dirt. One ball, one strike to Grisham. .99 miles an hour. It fouls it straight up. Might be playable. Barger got it. Barger and Kirk were over there. Barger puts it away for out number one. Aaron Judge comes to the plate with one out, nobody on. Hey, Shake. Go Stros, baby. They're showing that ball off the foul pole. That's what we call in Japanese giri giri. Giri giri just means basically by the skin of the teeth. One ball, no strikes to Judge. 1.3 OPS, batting .500 in the postseason. Here's the toss. And he continues his hitting streak. Line drive into left field on the second pitch, and he's on base with a single. One on, one out for the Yankees here in the bottom of the first. Cody Bellinger due up next. I'm doing pretty good, Shake. I had some bacon, a couple of fried eggs, and trying to finish off this nice local apple. 95 miles an hour right in there. Strike one to Bellinger. My neighbor was kind enough to bring some local apples to me, and she hung them on my door because I was gone at the supermarket at the time. Varland steps off the mound. That'll be one disengagement. Oh, one pitch. Ooh. 100 miles an hour, swing and a miss. There's that that catch by Bellinger. Speaking of Bellinger, he strikes out 100 miles an hour on the inside edge. 3-pitch strikeout by Varland. Varland is throwing some heat. 100 miles an hour. Giancarlo Stanton batting just 167. He's at the plate right now. Here's the pitch. 100 miles an hour, hit deep to right field, but it's going to be more vertical than it is horizontal. And they put it away for out number 3. So Judge gets a single, but they strand him on first base. That's it for the Yankees in the bottom of the first. It's 1-0 Blue Jays. 3 hits for the Blue Jays, 1 hit for the Yankees. We go to the top of the second in just a moment. Cam Schlittler will be back on the mound facing Anthony Santander, followed by Ernie Clement and Andres Jimenez. JD, what's happening? Great job on the Mariners stream today. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you for being there. Thank you for supporting the channel. Growth recently has been a little slow. We've got about 35 people watching right now. I don't quite understand. I mean, I know that I think really right now what the deal has been is that because I only did Astros for so long, and I've just recently been trying to switch over to doing other Houston teams, I think that the YouTube algorithm is not giving me as much exposure as it was before. So growth has been kind of slow recently. and the amount of viewers has been down. So I've only gone over 100 peak viewers in the postseason one time. So getting more than 50 likes has been a challenge. I did get over 50 likes in my live stream earlier, so that was nice. And I didn't even push for it. I've just stopped pushing people for likes. I was saying it a lot before, but today I wasn't focused on it, but it happened. I just happened to look up and I saw 53 likes on the live stream. Marty says, "What was the lobster count of the Detroit game? Sorry I missed the live stream." No big deal. I can take a look for you right quick. Let's see. Where is it at? I need to move the screen over there. I've got the Cubs and Brewers game up on my other screen, but there's not a whole lot going on in that game right now. It's 4-2 Cubs. Still on commercial break right now. We're almost back in the top of the first. It's Blue Jays Yankees game. One moment, and I'll have those lobsters pulled up for you. Littler back on the mound. That first pitch, 98 miles an hour, in there for strike one against Anthony Santander. I'm trying to get the other game pulled up, but it's slowly loading. Swing and a miss, another 98-mile-per-hour pitch. It looks like Schlittler and Varland are trying to outdo each other right now on the heat. You can see him trying to get the page to load. All right. Next pitch is fouled away by Santander. Count remains 0-2. Here comes the next delivery. Fouled off again. 99 miles an hour. Count stays 0-2. Okay, here we go, Marduk. Here's the final lobster count for the game. The Mariners had 14. They scored 3 runs and they had 14 lobsters. Tigers only had 10 lobsters, scored 9 runs. It was a perfect game for them, basically. Fouled off again by Santander. Count remains 0-2. So the Tigers completely turned it around today. Normally they have a lot of lobsters and only a few runs. But in this game, they were about 50-50. 9 runs and 10 lobsters. That's crazy. Here's the pitch. It's hit hard to right field and foul. He ripped that one. Yeah, he is throwing fire. You're right, Jay. Doug wants to know if I'll be doing the Dodgers game later. I wouldn't mind doing the Dodgers game, but there are a couple of reasons why. There are actually several reasons why I don't want to do the Dodgers game. Number one is doing 3 games in a day is pretty difficult for me right now, health wise. It really wears me out. Doing 2 is hard enough, but 3 is a little difficult. There's another foul ball. Santander just keeps fouling them off. The count's 0-2. Woo! How did he not call that a strike? 100 miles an hour. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Look at this pitch. Wow. Right across the thighs and maybe 1 inch out of the zone. That was close. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Santander. Nobody on, top of the second. No outs. Here's the toss. In the dirt. 2-2. I want the Dodgers to lose, and I don't care about the Phillies, so I don't have an interest in that, but I haven't been doing any of the NL games, Doug. Also, I think Doctor Delay is doing that. He might be, and if he is, you can check him out. He's doing the Cubs Brewers right now. 3 balls and 2 strikes to Santander. But I think that just concentrating on the AL games is enough for me right now. That's hit into right field, all the way out to Judge, and he grabs it on the run. Out number 1. But another reason, Doug, is that my friend Glenn is coming to visit from Australia. He's already in Osaka, and it looks like this weekend, either Saturday or Sunday, he will be coming over to my house. So there are some things that I wanted to try to get straight and cleaned before he gets here because I don't have a good spot for a visitor, 96 miles an hour, upper outer edge, strike 1 to Ernie Clement, who is the next guy at the plate. Nobody on, 1 out. Here's a pitch. That's hit high in the left field. And Bellinger, whoa, how did he make that catch? It looks like he made it with, that was Volpe? How did he make that catch? It looks like he wasn't even looking. Look at this. Wow. It was pretty cool that he had his eye on it, and he looked to make sure he wasn't going to run into Bellinger. And then he looks back up and makes the catch. Good play. Couple of good catches out there, one by Volpe and one by Bellinger. Amazing. 1 ball, no strikes to Jimenez. Nobody on. 2 down. Here's the pitch from Schlittler. That's grounded right back to the pitcher, and Schlittler sends it over with the underhand to first base for out number 3. 26 pitches, and he just got through that inning. 3 up and 3 down, no problem. Bottom of the second coming up, the Blue Jays up 1-0. Jazz Chisholm, the first man up, followed by Paul Goldschmidt, and then Austin Wells. Jay says Jake Bauers home run. Let's see here. What in the world? I tried to load the. They had a little problem there. It looks like 1 out in the top of the 7th. It's a 1-run game. Blake Perkins batting for the Brewers. Who's pitching for the Cubs right now? Kittredge? Yeah. Come on, Brewers. Sweep the Cubs in Wrigley. That'd be great. Looks like Perkins is pinch hitting for Ortiz. Still on commercial break with the Blue Jays and Yankees. One and one is the count against Perkins. Little discussion between Kittredge and the umpire. Not sure exactly what was going on there. Still showing commercials. for the Blue Jays Yankees. My friend is Australian and doesn't really follow baseball, but since he's going to be here, I will probably have him join us on some of these live streams. So it should be interesting having him on the live stream. Be the first time I've had somebody else on my live stream with me. Jazz Chisholm is at the plate, high and outside, 98 miles an hour on that pitch. Varland gets a ball. Chisholm actually just batting 211 in the postseason. Here's the pitch. Right in there, 89 mile per hour knuckle curve. Here's the toss. In the dirt. 2-1. I appreciate everybody being here today. Still got about 35 watching. Very modest. Hopefully I can get some more attention on the live stream. Here's the pitch. Outside edge. 3 balls and 1 strike. Varland keeps blowing in his hand. His hand must be cold. Here's a 3-1 pitch to Chisholm. Swing and a miss on that one. 89 mile per hour knuckle curve, and the count is full. I don't know what's going on with this bat between Perkins and Kittredge, but it is moving slowly. Bottom of the second. Chisholm at the plate with a full count. Nobody out. Swing and a miss with a foul tip. Caught by the catcher, Kirk. And that's a strikeout for Varland. Paul Goldschmidt due up next. This is a very, very slow at bat between Kittredge and Perkins. I think what's happening is I think the game's let me yeah, if I click on live, it jumps ahead. Okay. All right. So the inning is over for the Brewers. The middle of the 7th. They're down 4-3. Couple more innings of ball to go for the Cubs and the Brewers. Goldschmidt fouls that one off. 1 ball, 1 strike to Goldschmidt. Blue Jays already have a lefty warming up in the bullpen. Swing and a miss, 100 miles an hour outside. One ball, 2 strikes. Here's the pitch from Varland to Paul Goldschmidt. High and outside, 2-2. Jay says, how many viewers do you average on Astros games? Well, it depends on who they're playing, but usually simultaneous viewers is always over 100, sometimes as many as 250. Whoa, he hit him on the 2-2 pitch. The sinker slips out of his hand there and becomes a hit by pitch. Ooh, got him right in the upper ribs, right under the armpit. And Varland's done. They're going to go ahead and take him out of the game. Austin Wells is due up, but they're going to bring in a pinch hitter. So Wells is out of the game. So with the pitching change, they're going to go ahead and make a batting change as well. So we got a break as the pitching change and the pinch hitting change is made. But yeah, Jay, on Astros games, if the Astros are playing a division rival or they're playing the Yankees or the Dodgers, or they're playing in a very important game, etc., then the views on my video can go really high, as many as 2,400, 2,500, 2,600, and the simultaneous viewers at one time can go over 200, maybe 250. So it depends on who they're playing and how important the game is. But right now I'm kind of in a transition time with my channel where not only am I transitioning to covering other Houston sports like the Texans and the Rockets. I haven't started the Rockets yet, but that'll be starting soon enough. But the YouTube algorithm doesn't yet know about me covering those teams. All they know is that I do Houston Astros. But even with the Astros, I feel like the amount of exposure that YouTube gave me wasn't enough. Because if you look at my numbers, like the amount of watch hours I get and the duration per viewer and the loyalty and all of that stuff, these numbers are really, really high. So I get tons of watch hours. In 1 month, there are basically 8,000 watch hours. That's insane. That's a lot for a small channel like mine. But YouTube isn't rewarding me with more exposure. They're not pushing me to more and more Houston fans like they should be. And right now, they're pushing me even less. And that's because I'm covering more than just Astros. So I'm still covering some baseball games. Obviously, these are playoff games, but also covering the Texans and very soon the Rockets. And they haven't really started spreading the love yet with that. Swing and a miss. I thought they were bringing in a pinch hitter for Austin Wells. Where's the. Nope, they left him in. 1 ball, 1 strike to Wells. Mason Fluharty is on the mound. 82 miles an hour fouled away. The count's 1-2. I'm not sure exactly why they said that Wells was going to have a pinch hitter. I guess the announcers were wrong on that one. I was going by what they said, but they were incorrect. Wells calls timeout, steps out of the box. I remember when I was around 1,000 subscribers, Dr. DeLay was around 350. Now he just passed me up, but he's been doing multiple sports and multiple teams for several months, and I haven't been doing that. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Austin Wells. Here's the pitch from Fluharty. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Out number 2. Runner on first. Wells goes down swinging, and Anthony Volpe comes to the plate. Here's the pitch. Low and inside, ball 1. It's not a quick and easy task to finish off this apple. Here's the 1-0. Strike 1. 81 mile per hour pitch right in the bottom of the zone. Bottom of the second with 2 outs. Runner on first. 1 ball, 1 strike. Here's the pitch to Volpe. He fouls it back. 1-2. Uh-oh, Suzuki. It looks like they're going to bring in another pitcher. Here comes the 1-2 pitch to Volpe. Nope. He throws it over to first base instead. The crowd boos. Because why not? Here's a pitch. High and outside. 2-2. Here comes a 2-2 pitch to Volpe. He grounds it foul down the third base side. Count remains 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Runner on first. Mason Flaherty on the mound. 10 pitches now with 6 in the zone. 6 in the strike zone. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Woo! Strike 3 on the upper outer corner. Volpe's disappointed with that one. Could have gone either way. But you know what? If it's close, you got to swing. Can't let that go. George Springer due up next to face Schlittler in the top of the third. Nathan Lukes on deck and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. The Blue Jays are leading 1-0. Let's take a look over at the Cubs game right now because the Cubs have a couple of runners on, first and second with 1 out. Seiya Suzuki at the plate. Hiroshima Carp, Suzuki. Here's the pitch. Fouls it off. Suzuki is 1 for 3 today. You know, in Japanese, when you say Suzuki, it's not Suzuki, it's Suzuki. The stress is on the last syllable. Interesting, huh? Here's the pitch. 91. Just above the zone. Foul tip, strike 2. Patrick on the mound. Patrick Starr versus Suzuki Cars. Here's the 1-2 pitch. 97 fouls it off. Still on commercial break with the Blue Jays Yankees game. We'll be back over there in just a moment. Checking out this at bat by Seiya Suzuki. Here's a pitch. 96 up and away. Fouls it off again. I like Suzuki very, very much. I miss him being with the Carp here in Hiroshima. But I don't want the Cubs to advance. I want them to be swept. Here's the 2-2 pitch. That's a ground ball. Shortstop. It might be a double play. They call him safe at first base. So they get 1 runner at second. Now there are runners on the corners. They might challenge it. Nope, they're not going to challenge it. John Schneider. Looking for the first ALC appearance since 2016. It's been 9 years for the Blue Jays. Been a lot longer for the Brewers, I guess. Cam Schlittler on the mound facing George Springer. Springer does have a double today. First pitch is a ball. Here's the next one. Grounded to the left side. It might be an easy play, and it is. Springer is thrown out at first base. Interviewing a coach during the game while the players are batting, I don't understand that at all. Nathan Luke's at the plate with one out, nobody on. Here's a pitch from Schlittler. Right in there, 99 miles an hour, strike one. Got about 45 watching now. Welcome in, good to see you. Thank you for leaving a like on the video. Everybody was generous earlier with the likes, and it's much appreciated. Here's the pitch. Grounded up the middle and scooped up by Volpe. He fumbles it for a second, but he gets it, fires it over to first. Good play. Out number two. Caught it on the heel, was able to scoop it up into his belly. Good play. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. comes to the plate, immediately calls timeout. 2 outs and nobody on. "99 miles an hour" from Schlittler right in there for strike one. Nobody on for Guerrero Jr. Top of the third, 2 outs. And here comes the toss. 98 miles an hour above the zone. Well above the zone. 1 ball, 1 strike. Looks like Chad Patrick is dealing. Ooh, that was clearly a strike on the outside edge. 2 balls and 1 strike to Guerrero Jr. Here comes the pitch. Ground ball over to third. Long throw. Makes it. Out number 3. Guerrero Jr. grounds out. Schlittler gets through another inning after giving up some hits in the first and 1 run. He's able to shut it down in the second and in the third. We go to the bottom of the third. Mason Fluharty, most likely back up on the mound for the Blue Jays, facing Ryan McMahon, Trent Grisham, and Aaron Judge. And it looks like the Brewers also got out of the inning against the Cubs without giving up anything. Score is still 4-3. So the Brewers are down by 1. The Cubs had that big first inning and haven't scored anything since then. It's going into the top of the 8th. The Brewers have 2 more opportunities to get some runs on the board against the Cubs. My hot tea is no longer hot. It is now warm. Warm tea. Oh, we're back down to 40. We're on a break right now. Waiting for the Yankees to come back up to the plate in the bottom of the third. 1 hit so far for the Yankees in this game. No runs yet. Okay, I finally finished that apple. It was delicious. It's pretty cool. Out here in this area, I can get cider, I can get apples, I can get oranges, I can get eggs, I can get milk, yogurt, butter, What else? Jellies, pudding, custard, cookies, cakes, bakery. There's a small bakery. I can get bakery items. I can get bread. They make bread and deer meat, wild boar meat, all sorts of things you can get out here locally. Whenever you go to the cafes, almost everything on the menu is acquired locally. They even have some vineyards. You can get local wine and rice wine, Japanese rice wine, sake, right? Beer, local beer. You can get basically all of that stuff right around here. Don't have to go to the city to get anything. 0-1 is the count to McMahon. That's a swing and a miss. Strike two. Fluharty gets ahead of him in the count. Now my hands are cold from holding that cold apple. Here's the pitch. McMahon takes that low and outside. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Let's take a look. Oh, no, that's commercial. I guess they pulled the pitcher out after that double. Looks like they're having another pitching change, the Cubs. 84 outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Fluharty dealing against Ryan McMahon in the bottom of the third. No outs for the Yankees. Leadoff batter at the plate. Grounded down the first base side. They say that's foul. Hey, Marduk. Go Jays. Well, they're leading right now, but it's not by much. 1-0. If this game winds up 1-0, I'd be shocked. 91 just above the zone. So Fluharty starts off with the 0-2 count. And now it's 3-2. 3-2. Trent Grisham on deck. That's hit out into right field all the way out to the wall, and it's gone. Tie game on a 3-2 pitch. Fluharty leaves it out over the plate, and McMahon just lobs it out into right field. His first home run in the postseason. 357 feet, 103 miles an hour. Not hit very hard, just hit it on the right part of the bat. Nice smooth swing, easy swing. Just got around on it in time to pull it to right field. It's 1-1. Tie game. No outs. Grisham at the plate. He almost hit him. 1 ball, no strikes. Here comes the next pitch from Fluharty. Lower inside corner. Strike one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Yeah, Yankee Stadium, just 357. That's like a Crawford box homer, right? Here's a pitch. Low and inside, fouled off. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Grisham. Dominguez warming up in the bullpen for the Blue Jays. Mason Fluharty is up to 21 pitches. 13 have been in the zone. Here comes the next toss to Grisham. He fouls that one off. Count remains 1-2. There's that homer. Right in the middle of the plate. Yeah, that was a mistake. Cubs just got a strikeout with Caleb Dilbar. the new pitcher on the mound. Next pitch is a little high and outside to Grisham. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1-1. Yankees finally get on the board. Here's the toss. Fouled off. Count remains 2-2. Yankees tied it with a solo homer. I'm not surprised. Aaron Judge is on deck. Cody Bellinger is in the hole. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Trent Grisham. Here's the pitch. Fouls it off again. Next pitch to Grisham is high. Full count. No outs. Very important at bat right here because you got Judge coming up next. Here comes a pitch from Fluharty. Strike 3 called, up and in. Grisham was complaining about that. It was a little high and inside. Look at that. Fluharty gets the call, but difficult. A difficult pitch, but that hit right there from McMahon is the one that tied it up. Fluharty is going to come out. New pitcher is in the game for the Blue Jays. I think it's Rodriguez or is that or Dominguez. And they're going to take a break while he switches out. Looks like the Brewers have runners on first and second with 1 out. Here comes the pitch from Caleb Thielbar. That's going to be a hit right up to the second baseman. Is it going to be a double play? No, he's safe at first. So the Brewers have runners on first and third in the top of the 8th with 2 outs. Cubs don't get the double play there. But it looks like they have Caleb Durbin coming up to the plate. 2 outs, runners on the corners. There's a commercial break right now for the Blue Jays and the Yankees, so we'll see what happens here. Maybe we can get a result with the Cubs and the Brewers. They have a little meeting on the mound. Nope, Thielbar is going to be pulled. We're not going to get to see this either. Yeah, they're going to bring in a new pitcher. Keller's going to come in the top of the 8th to try to shut this down. The Brewers have runners on the corners with 2 outs. But we're going to jump back over to the Yankees Blue Jays game because this commercial will be over first. Donald says, do you talk with other sports live streamers to share ideas or get tips? Well, the only other sports live streamer that I talk with sometimes is Dr. Delay. But, I mean, it's not like he and I chat. We don't just send messages back and forth. Judge is at the plate, swinging a miss on that very first pitch. 95 miles an hour, strike 1. There's 1 down and nobody on here in the bottom of the 3rd. Judge is 1 for 1 today with a single. Outside, 1-1 is the count. I just noticed that Judge has a gavel hanging around his necklace or hanging on his necklace. That's funny. You know, Donald, I will say this. I've been doing a couple of different YouTube channels for years now, and reaching out to other YouTubers is often disappointing. So sometimes you just get discouraged with it and give up. You reach out and you connect with people, you want to collaborate, you want to do something, and they don't respond a lot of times at all. And sometimes when they do respond, it's not very positive. Line drive straight to second, and he's right there. Clement grabs it 112 miles an hour on that line drive. Wow. Right over the head of Dominguez. Two outs, nobody on. Cody Bellinger at the plate. Here's the toss. In the dirt, low and inside, ball one. But if there are any live streamers, I will say this. If there are any live streamers that could give me some tips, more than likely, they definitely would never take the time to talk to me. They'd be too busy, and they'd never see my comment. And if they did, they probably wouldn't respond. 98 right in there, and he fouls it off. 1-1 is the count. Yeah, it's just the way it is. Think of it this way. It's kind of like if you're a fan and you reach out to a content creator, that's hit out into center field pretty deep, but gonna be playable right before the warning track by Varsho. And that's it for the Yankees in the bottom of the third. But they do get a home run, and it is 1-1. We are finished with 3 innings of baseball. We go to the top of the fourth. Cam Schlittler on the mound for the Yankees. He's up to 34 pitches and 26 of those in the zone. Addison Barger will be the first batter, followed by Alejandro Kirk and Dalton Varsho. But what I was going to say is, if you're a fan of a channel, holy cow, bases are loaded for the Brewers right now with 2 outs in the top of the eighth. But maybe you reach out to the content creator, or you message them or something like that. They often don't respond, or they might respond in a rude way, or basically maybe kind of shoo you away. It's the same thing for me. Now, if I had like 20,000 subscribers or 50,000 subscribers or something like that, it'd be a completely different issue. People would see that and they'd be like, "Oh yeah, I want to talk to you," because it would help them, right? 1 ball and 2 strikes to who's at the plate? Bowers. Jake Bowers is at the plate for the Brewers with bases loaded, 2 outs. Keller on the mound. Come on, take the lead back from the Curbs. You can do it. You can do it. Ah, swing and a miss. Keller gets a strikeout with bases loaded. Wow. The Brewers are shut down with bases loaded in the eighth. The Cubs hang on to their 1-run lead. It goes into the bottom of the eighth. That was disappointing. Yeah, Jay, that was disappointing, right? Bases loaded with 2 outs, and he struck him out. But, there have been some times where I reached out to some other live streamers and other YouTubers, and it's worked out for me. I've been able to make a few friends that way too. There's a guy that I'm friends with that lives in Kyoto here in Japan. He's an American. He's married to a Japanese lady. He's renovating an old house over there. And that's how I met him because I have another YouTube channel where I'm renovating my old house. This house here that I live in, it's around 200 years old. And he and I met because we have mutual interest through our YouTube channels. And he was kind enough to do an interview with me online, and we became friends after that. Flying outside to Addison Barger. Cam Schlittler back on the mound. 1-0 is the count to Barger. Kirk on deck, Varsho in the hole. Here's the next pitch from Cam. On the outside, strike one. Here's the next pitch. That's hit out into left center field. It might be down, and it is. Grisham cuts it off, but Barger is going to be into second base with a double. A leadoff double for the Blue Jays here in the top of the fourth. Yankees fans giving up so fast. Alejandro Kirk comes to the plate. Here's the pitch. Fouls it off. Strike one. Got about 40 people watching right now. Thanks for being here. Share the channel with your friends. Share with your family. Share with your enemies. Share with your boss. Share with that grumpy old person down the street. Here comes the 0-1 pitch to Kirk. Fouls it off again. 98 miles an hour right down the middle. 0-2. Next pitch to Kirk is hit out into right field. It'll be a line drive caught by Judge. Fake tag by Barger. Judge is easily able to make the throw over to third base and keep him at second. Dalton Varsho is at the plate. 0 for 1 today with a fly out in the first inning. He's been on fire in the postseason. Here comes the first pitch. He hits this one out into left field. Should be playable. Bellinger's underneath it. Puts it away. Barger with the fake tag again. Goes back to second base. So the Blue Jays get the leadoff runner on second base, and they have stranded him twice. Anthony Santander comes to the plate next. The last opportunity to try to move that runner around. Jay says, let's go Kirk. I always root for the little guy. That's my people. Like Altuve. Kirk is what the catcher version of Altuve. Here comes the pitch. Fouled off. 0-1 is the count against Santander. Schlittler has had the pitch count pretty comfortable for him so far this game. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Santander swings 97 above the zone. Strike two. crowd is slowly coming to their feet, clapping and looking for a strikeout here. The count is 0-2 with 2 outs. Runner on second. Here's the pitch. 98 high, ball 1. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. Ooh, inside, almost got him. Oh, and he gets by the catcher too. Barger goes over to third base. That almost hit Santander. He pulled back. You see what happened here. Wow, did that get his shirt? Almost. Catcher missed it. Almost a hit by pitch. Maybe by less than a centimeter. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch. 100 outside. Could have been ball 3. Fouls away. 45 people watching. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. Appreciate ya. Looks like the Cubs don't do anything in the bottom of the 8th, which is fine by me. Top of the 9th. Brewers' last chance to tie or take the lead. 2 balls and 2 strikes here in the top of the 4th. With 2 outs. Santander at the plate facing Schlittler with Barger on third base. Struck him out. Swing and a foul tip miss into the glove of the catcher, Wells. Strike 3. Santander goes down. The score, rather, remains 1-1. Yankees will be up in the bottom of the 4th, starting with Giancarlo Stanton, and then Jazz Chisholm Jr. and Paul Goldschmidt. I wanted to see what's going on in the top of the 9th with the Brewers, but it hasn't started quite yet. We got the squirrel commercial again. Silly moments in MLB. The Cubs and the Brewers are in the 9th inning at Wrigley Field, the top of the 9th. The Brewers have Monasterio, Perkins, and Yelich due up. Brad Keller seems to be the pitcher for the Cubs. It's 4-3. The Brewers have scored 1 run every few innings. Scored in the 1st, scored in the 4th, scored in the 7th. It looks like they're going to take Monasterio out of the game and bring in a pinch hitter. Andrew Vaughn is going to be batting for Monasterio. He's facing Brad Keller. Inside, almost hit him. Ball 1. Still on break with the Jays and Yankees. Here's the pitch. That's hit out into right center field. Right fielder calls it Suzuki, and he's got it for out number 1. Looks like the Rockets game is going on right now, and the Jazz are winning 13-5 in the first quarter. Giancarlo Stanton is at the plate to face Dominguez, the first batter of the inning. Ball one. Here's the second pitch. 96 right in there. 1-1. I'll try to keep track of what's going on in the ninth inning of the Cubs-Brewers game. Stanton takes that next pitch inside for ball two. 2-1. Here's the next pitch, the 2-1. High. The sweeper misses. 3 balls and 1 strike. Dominguez needs to get his control down a little bit better. Jazz Chisholm on deck. Stanton is 0 for 1 today. Here's the pitch. Right in there for strike 2. It's full count. 97 miles an hour. Next pitch is in the dirt. Stanton walks on a full count. Bottom of the fourth, lead runner is on for Dominguez and the Blue Jays. Jazz Chisholm comes to the plate. Brewers hit one way out to left field, almost a homer, almost an opposite field homer by Perkins. Foul ball. First pitch to Chisholm is a strikesome. 0-1 is the count. Brandon Little in the bullpen, or Brendan Little, that is. Here's the pitch. 98 miles an hour, ball one. The count's even. Runner on first. No outs. Bottom of the fourth. 1-1 pitch. Chisholm grounds it to first. Might be a double play. To second, back to first, and they get him. 3-6-3. Double play. Guerrero makes the perfect defensive play there. Scoops it up. Fires it to second. Back to first. Nice hop. Good catch on that difficult hop. Double play eliminates the base runner. Guerrero not only made the catch and the throw to second, he got back to first to get the relay. 97 miles an hour, strike one to Paul Goldschmidt. Nobody on base, 2 outs. 0-1 is the count. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. 97 right in there. 0-2. That's hit way up and high on the left side and put away for out number 3. And it looks like the Cubs have beaten the Brewers. Indeed, they have 4-3. So no sweep, unfortunately, for the Brewers. The Cubs are going to extend that series as well. And they're going to go to another game. A game 4. Yep. Unfortunately, the Cubs live on for another day. They will die another day. Still pretty confident the Brewers will take the series, but they managed to get 1 win. So let them enjoy it a little bit. Most likely the next game, the Brewers will not be as lazy and lethargic as they were today. In this game here, we've got a 1-1 tie We've gone through 4 innings of play. Cam Schlittler is up to 47 pitches for the Yankees. 36 of those in the zone. Pretty good ratio there. Ernie Clement is due at the plate. He's 0 for 1 today, followed by Andres Jimenez and then George Springer. 4 hits for the Blue Jays and 2 for the Yanks. Got almost 50 people watching. If you stopped in from the Cubs Brewers game, welcome in. It's good to have you here. If you guys and gals don't mind, make sure you like the live stream. I would much appreciate that. Let me reload my page here and see how many likes we've got. One of these days, I'll take the time to adjust the screen so it tells me on my live feed. Got about 28 likes, so we need to get that up to about 35 to 40. If you would like the live stream, I'd appreciate it very much. Mardik says Schlitz versus old style beer cities. I like old style more. What brands of beer or what particular beers do you like, Marta? Here in Japan, there's they have a couple of dark beers. They're a little harder to find. You have to go to like the liquor stores to get those large liquor shops. If you go to the supermarket, you usually can't find the dark beers. I think the dark beers themselves are not really popular in Japan, so you can't normally get those in the regular supermarkets. But you can definitely get them in Yamada. Yamada is like a big alcohol and beer store. Right in there. Strike 1 to Ernie Clement. Schlittler up to 48 pitches now. 0-1 count. Here comes the toss. That's hit out into left field. Now it'll be down for a single. Blue Jays have a leadoff single. That's their first hit in a while. Third hit of the game for the Blue Jays. Andres Jimenez comes to the plate. You know, it's really cool. My first time to visit Tokyo, I went to a tower there. It's a Asahi beer. Pitches right in there for strike 1 to Jimenez. And you go to the Asahi building. Near the top, they have this bar with an overlook of the city. And they have a flat bar right next to the glass. So you sit there and have your beer and overlook Tokyo City. It's really nice. Swing and a foul tip in the dirt there. 0-2 is the count. That was the first time I had a dark beer in Japan. That's a Japanese dark beer. So it was Asahi Dark. It was really nice. Everyone is staying alive. Staying alive. Yes, that's right. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Jimenez. Or is that a foul off? I was going by ear that time because I was looking at the live chat. But it is 0-2. Springer is on deck. Here comes a pitch to Jimenez. That's high, 1-2. Donald wants to know if I ever attend baseball games there. Sometimes, but it's like I said earlier, I would go to see a lot more games if I were able to afford it. Medical reasons have taken me out of work. That's up the middle, going to be a hit. And runners are going to be on first and third. Clement goes all the way over to third. Jimenez gets to first. That's another hit off of Schlittler. Schlittler Malt Liquor Bull. You know, look at that. He was about to try to get it, and he pulled his glove back. He thought that Chaz Chisholm, Jazz Chisholm was gonna make that play, and he wasn't there. So it turns into a hit. Runners on the corners, no outs. That's gonna be it for Schlittler. Boone comes out to the mound. They're having a little chit chat there. Is he not gonna pull him out? I thought I saw Boone come out. But right now they're having a little chit chat with the pitching coach. I guess they're not gonna pull him. George Springer comes to the plate. He had a double his first at bat today. Oh, Marduk with the super chat. Thank you, sir, for that. Thank you very much for the cheeseburger super chat. 82 up and in, strike one to Springer. Marduk says with the super chat, nothing like a cheeseburger and an old style beer at the Billy Goat Tavern downtown Chicago during a Cubs game. I haven't even been to Chicago. That's hit out to center field. Could be a tag, and it is. The Blue Jays will get the lead back. 2-1. Clement scores on the George Springer sacrifice fly. Jimenez stays at first base. One down. 2-1 Blue Jays. But I will say this, Donald, the baseball games here have some aspects that are better than MLB, and they have some aspects that are not as enjoyable as MLB. But all of the game itself, like the actual game, I think is better in Japan. But the noise in the stands sometimes can be a little too much. So I would recommend bringing some earplugs. Little throw over to first base, but Jimenez is back. 0-1 is the count to Luke's. But you know, actually, Marduk, if you come to Hiroshima, there's a Hiroshima style burger here that is really amazing. Maybe I should go get one sometime and show it to you guys. Actually, whenever my friend Glenn from Australia comes here, if he's interested in grabbing a burger, we might do that. Maybe we'll do that together, make a video and post it for you. You can see a Hiroshima burger because, you know, at Iwakuni, there's a military base, a U.S. military base, and it was influenced by that. That's what happens a lot in Japan. Fouled off 99 miles an hour. Schlittler still on the mound. 0-2 is the count to Nathan Lukes. I thought for sure they were going to pull him out earlier, but they just gave him a little talking to. Timeout called by Lukes. But there's something special about the Hiroshima burgers. Well, what happened over there? That was crazy. Little tapper over onto the right side. I'm sure they're going to show a replay there. I want to share that with you guys and gals. I want you to see this replay. Jimenez is thrown out at second base. But take a look at this. That was a little pop ball to the infield. He scooped it up at the last minute and threw it to second to get the force out. 2 down. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at the plate. Ball 1. 1 for 2 today. He has put a lot of hurt on the Yankees. That's bounced to the third base side, and they say it's foul. Buying a giant beer from a public vending machine that I've heard. Are you talking about the tall can of beer? The tall can of beer from the vending machine? You know, you can actually buy cigarettes from the vending machines here. Not all of them, but they have vending machines that just have cigarettes. I've never bought them before because I don't smoke, but from what I was told, you have to use your ID to prove that you're old enough. But the funny thing is that doesn't stop kids from buying them. 98 miles an hour, right in the top of the zone. Strike 2 to Guerrero Jr. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Runner on first base, 2 outs. Here's the pitch to Guerrero Jr. High and outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. But the people here, they could just give their ID to their kid, or the kid could take their ID without them knowing about it, go down there to the machine and get cigarettes. And they don't need an ID to get beer out of the machine. That's the crazy thing. 94 miles an hour on the outside edge, fouled off. Hey, Donald, thank you so much. $10 super chat. Donald says, have a dark beer on me when you get the chance. Maybe when my friend gets here, Glenn from Australia, maybe we'll do that. Maybe we'll go get a hamburger and a beer. Here's a pitch. It's high. Full count. 99 mile per hour pitch misses. That's the dark beer super chat. I don't drink any alcohol recently because of my kidney, but strike 3. Guerrero tried to get a walk on that one, but it was right in there. You got to swing at that. You can't let those pitches go. Look at that. No, you can't let that go. Guerrero took off running towards first base, and he was rung up. That's going to be it for the top of the 5th, but the Blue Jays do put another run on the board and restore their lead. It's 2-1. Going into the bottom of the 5th, Austin Wells is due up next, followed by Anthony Volpe, and then Ryan McMahon. But, you know, a couple of days ago, I was thinking how I'd like to grab a beer. Every once in a while, it just feels nice to grab a beer and relax, a nice cold beer. And I was thinking about grabbing one. I wound up not doing it because I just haven't been drinking any alcohol due to my kidney. But maybe whenever I go to pick up my friend Glenn, I'll stop by the store because I'm not sure if they do any dark beer locally. I don't think so. I don't think they have any local dark beer. But I can always stop by the liquor store whenever I pick up my friend Glenn and pick up a bottle or a can of the big dark beer. Mardik says, how about a lobster count? This is the official, unofficial Mardik sponsored lobster count. Let's start with the Yankees. The Yankees have 5 lobsters. 5 lobsters in this game. And only 1 run. So that's actually not too bad considering they haven't had many runners on base. And they only have 5 lobsters through 4 innings. It's not too bad. It's not good, but it's not bad. The Blue Jays have 10 lobsters and only 2 runs. Now that's pretty bad because that means they've had 10 opportunities to move guys over and they've only got 2 runs. So they've missed a lot of opportunities. The Yankees have not had as many opportunities. So the Blue Jays have failed to move guys over twice as many times as the Yankees. Let's take a look at the Rockets game right quick. The Rockets have come back and they're only down by 2 in the second quarter, 25-23 behind the Jazz. Pretty low scoring game right now. Kevin Durant only has 2 points. Well, that would explain it. That's why they're down so much. Austin Wells is at the plate with a 1 ball and no strike count. Here comes the next pitch. He hits that high in the air to left field. Might be trouble, but he's got it. Jimenez puts it away at shortstop for 1 down. Anthony Volpe comes to the plate. But yeah, it's been so long since I've had a drink. George says, and I haven't drank in 7 years, and I'm a recovering alcoholic. Wow. I was never really a big drinker. I used to drink just for special occasions. That's bounced down the third base side. Austin Wells is down, and Volpe is at the plate. So 0-1 to Volpe. But after I was diagnosed with renal cancer, kidney cancer, I have decreased my drinking even more. It's been a long time. I don't even remember the last time I drank. I don't remember what I drank or where it was at or what it was. This is fouled off into right field pretty deep. 0-2 is the count on Volpe. Eric Lauer is on the plate. He's on the plate. Why do I keep saying that? On the mound for the Blue Jays. Probably because I got up at 3:30. That was over 6 hours ago. Here comes the 0-2 pitch to Volpe. Lauer gets a strikeout. 89-mile-per-hour cutter, swing and a miss. 3-pitch strikeout to Volpe, and that's 2 down. Ryan McMahon due up next for the Yankees. McMahon has a home run. The only run for the Yankees today came from McMahon's homer. It's preseason? Yeah, that's right. Preseason. They're still trying to get in shape. That's right. I was thinking about doing the preseason games, Jay, but like I said before, just because I don't have my layout and all of that stuff. Doing the NBA layout and getting the connections to the live scores and the stats, it's a little bit different than the NFL and the MLB. 93, right on the outside edge. Strike 2 to McMahon. Runs needed. Runs needed by who? The Yankees? Both teams need runs. It's only a 2-1 game. 1 ball and 2 strikes now to McMahon with 2 outs and nobody on here in the bottom of the 5th. Here's the toss. This is grounded to shortstop. Clement fires it over to Guerrero for out number 3. 3 up and 3 down. No problem for Eric Lauer. It gets through the inning for the Blue Jays. We go into the top of the 6th. The Blue Jays give the Yankees pitchers no time to rest. 2-1 is the score. And the Blue Jays will have Addison Barger, Alejandro Kirk, and Dalton Varsho up in just a moment. Marduk says, I absolutely love Gekekon Sake. Gekekon Sake. Love it. You know, here in Saijo, you can actually look this up online. If you look this up online, Marduk, Saijo Higashi Hiroshima Sake is famous, and actually they have a sake festival in Saijo. Saijo is about a 35-minute drive from here, and every year around this time, actually, they have a sake festival. I wonder if they've had it yet. I think they might have it this month. Let's see. October 11th and 12th. It's this weekend. I just happened to think of it. Oh my gosh, this might be the good opportunity since I haven't had anything to drink. But yeah, you guys can see it right here. The sake around here is famous in Japan because in Hiroshima the water is very soft and it causes the sake to have a nice, sweet, soft feel and flavor. It's very popular. But this festival is about 35 minutes from here by car, and maybe whenever I pick up my friend Glenn, maybe we can stop by there and pick up. I don't know if they'll have dark beer. I know that they'll have sake. Maybe I can pick up a little bit of that. They also have a dark sake. I don't know if you guys have ever had dark sake before, but it's kind of like a medicinal type sake, and they say it's good for your health. And I can't remember the area. I'll have to look it up. But there's an area that I visited about a year and a half ago with a lady that I was dating at the time. Here's a pitch to Barger that's in there for strike one. But I was able to sample it at the time, and it was really good. And they said it's good for your health. It's got a lot of. I mean, I know it sounds like a joke. How could it be medicinal? But that's because it has herbs added to it, and that's why it's dark. So it does have good things for your body. Strike two to Barger. Cam Schlittler still on the mound. He's pitched 5 innings for the Yankees. Here comes the 0-2 pitch to Barger. 97 fouled off on the left side. The count remains 0-2. Yeah, Jay says gonna have one now. Not a huge beer drinker, but once in a while is cool. Yeah, I'm the same. I mean, I feel like maybe like birthday, Christmas. Have you guys ever had mulled cider? That's a German thing that I really like. During Christmas time, the holidays, they have hot mulled cider. It is so good. This is hit on the left side, a cue shot to third base, and there's going to be no play at all. That'll be a hit, leadoff hit. Looks like they're going to pull Schlittler out. Look how much spin was on that ball. So after that opposite field hit, oh, they're going to leave him in. So Boone comes out. Can you believe that? Boone went all the way out to the mound, and I thought he was going to pull him out before because he came out of the dugout, but he didn't pull him out. This time he goes all the way out to the mound and talks to him, but leaves him in. Pretty crazy. Duvall is in the bullpen right now. Alejandro Kirk, the Toronto Altuve. Toronte is at the plate. Low and outside, ball one. George says, let's go Jays. Donald says, well, brother, forget the beer and grab something else. No need to start since you've been doing great without it. Well, I wouldn't say I'm doing great. You know, even without drinking. I've never been a heavy drinker. but my kidney, for some reason or the other, just it's been heavily attacked by cancer tumor. Here's the pitch. Bounce foul down the third baseline. The count's 1-2 to Kirk. But seriously though, I think I can get a little something maybe if Glenn and I stop at the festival in Sideshow. I've been wanting to go to the festival. I mean, it's right in my backyard, and I've never actually been to it. I've driven through Sideshow when they're having the festival, but it seems like I never get the opportunity really to just go there. So maybe I'll go there and pick up something since you donated and you asked me to grab something for myself. So I'll get something. That's hit deep to right center, or right field rather, but Judge is right there to put it away, and that's one out. Runner on first with one away. Dalton Varsho comes to the plate. Jay says, but yeah, Donald, I will definitely have a little something, even if it's just a little. I'll have something in your honor, and I will post it on the community tab later on. So be on the lookout for that. I'll take a picture and post it. If we get the burgers too, we're gonna have to go a little further to get the burgers though, because they only have those in Hiroshima City. They don't have those around here. 0-1 is the count to Varsho. Jay says, I don't like beer that's too bitter. I had a buddy make a homemade beer that was too bitter. That sounds difficult. Oh, man, look at that. They get him in the rundown. A grounder to first base. He steps on first and then throws it to second. Hey, did he get back in? They barely got the tag at first base. They got him in the yield hot box. Grounder to first base. They stepped on first. And then they got Barger in the rundown. He almost got back into first, but they wound up getting the double play. So that's it for the Blue Jays in the top of the sixth. The Yankees will be back up in just a moment with Trent Grisham, Aaron Judge, and Cody Bellinger. Top of the lineup. George says, never had one beer in my life. Once I start, I can't stop drinking. Phenomenon of craving. So, George, if you've never had one beer in your life, how do you know that if you have one, you can't stop? I don't understand that. It kind of reminds me of when I was in China and I was running a class of business English students, and there was a man there in the class. And this is typical of Chinese. Many Chinese are very, very much against things that are not Chinese. I think a lot of it has to do with the cultural indoctrination from the government and their education, but they are very averse to Western foods. And now, of course, many Chinese do like pizza, but if you take a Chinese person to a Mexican restaurant, they have a very difficult time trying to figure out what to eat. And whenever the food does come out, you'll see that they look at it like they're disgusted, like they don't know where to begin. They don't know how to grab it. They don't know how to take it. They don't know how to eat it, and they're a little scared of touching it. I've seen this so many times. It's so ridiculous. But in this class, I asked a simple question, which is one I've used a lot. It's just a simple question. Do you like pizza? And this one guy said, "Oh, no, 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 no. I don't like pizza." And he was very openly speaking out, like, "Oh, no, 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 no. I don't like pizza." And of course, the the point of this exercise was to explain why we like or don't like something. It was very simple. And I said, "You don't like pizza?" And everyone else said they like pizza. So everyone said they like pizza. And I would say, "Why do you like pizza? Why do you like pizza? Why do you like?" And this guy said, "No, no, 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 no." He said, "I don't like pizza. I don't eat pizza." And I said, "Why don't you like pizza?" And he said, I never eat pizza." And I said, "Wait a second. Have you had pizza before? Did you eat pizza?" And he said, "No, no, no. I didn't eat pizza." And I said, Not even one time? He said, no. And I said, then how can you say you don't like it? And he said, I just don't like it. And I said, but if you've never had it, how can you say you don't like it? It reminds me of that, right? You've been studying alcoholism or studying alcohol? 80 miles an hour, up and in, strike one. Eric Lauer back on the mound for the Blue Jays, facing Trent Grisham, the top of the Yankees lineup in the bottom of the sixth. Here's the pitch. Nice pitch on that outside edge, but he didn't get him to bite, and it's 1-1. It's a joke, right? Can't have only one. Well, if I meet an alcoholic and he says, well, I can't just have one. If I have one, I'll keep drinking. I can understand that. But if someone says, I've never had beer before, but if I drink one, I'll keep drinking. Huh? That's like saying, I don't eat potato chips. Why? Well, because if I eat potato chips, if I eat just one potato chip, then I know that I'll just keep eating several bags of potato chips. And then I say, do you have a problem with that? And then they say, no, I've never had potato chips before, but I've been studying potato chips. And I just know that if I have one potato chip, I'll eat several bags. What? 88 outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Trent Grisham. Big book written in 1935. I still don't understand, though, George. You do realize that not everybody is an alcoholic, right? 80 miles an hour in the dirt, 3 balls and 2 strikes to Grisham. An alcoholic is somebody who drinks often, drinks a lot, and it causes problems in their life. They're not able to control themselves. They have a weakness to alcohol, right? But I can drink alcohol, but I'm definitely not controlled by it. 83 right in there. Grisham takes it for strike 3. That's back-to-back strikeouts looking for Grisham. And we got the surrender cobra going on in New York. Look at this curve right in there. Beautiful pitch. You guys know the surrender cobra? This is it. The surrender cobra. The first time I saw that was a LSU Tiger game. I think it was, they might have been playing Florida. Are they going to walk him? Intentional walk. They're going to send Judge to first base. What do you think about that? Good move or foolish move? Bellinger's due up. Pitching coach is coming out to talk to Lauer. Rusty Gamer, thank you so much. You are awesome. Here's a little something to get that burger with your drink of choice. Rusty Gamer with the $20 super chat. Thank you, kind burger and drink super chat man. I'm going to get myself a Rusty burger. What I hope to do is for Glenn and I to get to Hiroshima and get one of those Hiroshima burgers so I can show you guys, because there's one particular place that's very famous for that burger, and I've never actually been to that particular place. So I hope I can go there and take a little snapshot of it, maybe a video, and show it to you guys and gals so you can see what's special about it. You can only get that burger around here in Hiroshima. It's just it's influenced by the soldiers in the American military base. 0-1 is the count to Bellinger. He hits that one out into left field, but it's playable. Judge goes back to first base, 2 outs. Giancarlo Stanton comes to the plate. JD says, okay, go. And it looks like that's going to be it. Are they going to pull him out? Seems like that's going to be it for Eric Lauer. Giancarlo Stanton comes to the plate, and they're making a pitching change, so we'll be back in just a moment to see what comes of that. Judge is on first base with 2 outs. Stanton comes to the plate, and we'll wait for the pitching change. But, let's see. Let me get back to that question. Thank you again, Rusty, for that awesome super chat. I'm being forced to go look for the burgers and the beer now, but if I could just have a little bit, even a little bit of the sake, and then later on, we can stop by and pick up a dark beer on the way back here. Maybe Glenn and I can share a beer. I don't even know if he drinks beer, to be honest. I don't think we've ever had a beer together. We never drink when we're together. But JD says, what should Western men prefer, Chinese women or Japanese women? Well, it depends. It depends on what you want because both women have their pluses and minuses. But I will tell you this. If you want a woman who comes more independently of her family, then definitely go for a Japanese woman. Now, yes, the Asian cultures are very big on being close to their families. And if you marry a Japanese woman who has a mom and a dad and some other family, and you have some kids or something like that, if you're going to get married and have kids, then of course, the family are going to want to see their grandkids and spend some time with them and whatever. But they're very supportive and they'll want to be involved and that sort of thing. But it's very different with the Chinese family. When you marry many, now not all are like this, and things have changed a little bit in China. But I will tell you this: remember, I lived there for almost 7 years, and I learned some things. And a lot of the families there, whenever you have a kid, they expect that that child is going to spend a huge amount of time with the grandparents. Plus, if you get married, many of the parents think that you, as the man, should give the mom and dad a lot of money. Um, my last girlfriend in China, I wanted her to marry me, but her and her family, they asked for so much stuff. It was almost like a joke, and it wasn't a joke. They were being serious, and they were a poor family. They didn't have much money. Rodriguez is on the mound. Yariel Rodriguez is on the mound for the Blue Jays. Giancarlo Stanton at the plate, ball one. Judge at first, 2 outs. Here's the pitch. Just a little outside, 2-0. But you might be expected to pay like $15,000 to the mom and dad or more, plus buy your wife an apartment, which you cannot really own in China. Outside, 3-0 is the count to Stanton. And you're also going to have to pay for the wedding, which would be another $15,000 and maybe a few $1,000s for wedding pictures, plus another few $1,000s to give money out to all of the people who attend. And they will come out of the cracks, trust me, because they know that money's going to be handed out. That's strike one, 3 balls and 1 strike. So you're going to spend a ton of money just to get married in China. Plus, the mother and father will want to live with you and your wife. There's so many ridiculous things about traditional Chinese marriages. Judge is stealing second base, and he makes it in there, but it doesn't matter because it's ball 4 to Stanton. Stanton on first, Judge on second, 2 outs. Jazz Chisholm Jr. comes to the plate. Bottom of the 6th, Yariel Rodriguez pitching for the Blue Jays. 2-1 Blue Jays. Yankees trying to find a way to get back in the game right here in the 6th. But somebody told me one time that if you have a Chinese girlfriend or a Chinese wife and you cheat on her, she'll kill you. Swing and a miss or foul tip at the plate. Strike 1. But a Japanese girlfriend, she won't like it, but she'll deal with it. So some guys abuse that, and I don't think that's fair. They have a Japanese wife, several kids, and then they cheat and have a girlfriend, and the Japanese wife doesn't want to break up the family, so she'll just deal with it. It's not right. There's a ground ball, and that'll be out number 3. So the Yankees fail to move a runner around. Rodriguez gets the final out. 6 innings of ball are over. It's 2-1. Going into the top of the 7th, Anthony Santander. No, I'm sorry. George Springer. It just changed on my screen. George Springer, Nathan Lukes, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr. are due up next. But I feel like Japanese, even though it's a different culture and they've got some Asian influence and things like that, overall, you're going to have a much easier experience dealing with family and cultural things with Japanese than you will with Chinese, because Japanese have more influence from the West than Chinese do. So I think ultimately, at the end of the day, now, if you meet a Chinese girl who basically doesn't have any family, or she doesn't really have anything to do with her family, or they've kind of ostracized her or something like that, and she's a good girl, then go for it. I think it's fine. She will easily move with you to America or somewhere else and live wherever you want. But there are not a lot of Chinese girls like that. A lot of Chinese girls think that even if they come live with you in America, maybe whenever you get a little older and they are getting ready to retire, they're going to go back to China and take care of their parents. And if you live in China, many girls want to take care of their parents. Um, that's just a common Chinese thing. Uh, uh, I met a really wealthy Chinese lady one time, and before we never even dated. Okay, before we dated, she contacted me and she said, "Hey, I know that you're single and you're wanting to date somebody, and I want us to go out." But she said, and by the way, remember this is before we even went out on a date. She was a lovely lady, and she was just a couple of years younger than me. She had a really nice position with the company. She was like the CEO of a company, and was making really good money. And she said, "Listen, I'm going to be clear. I'd like for us to get married, and you can live here in my home with me and my mother, and you don't have to worry about work or anything else. I make lots of money, and I just I want us to get married, and then we can have some children. But my company makes good money, and you don't really have to do anything." But she wanted to skip all of the getting to know each other and see if we're right for each other. But her dream was for us to live in a particular city in China, and for me to live there with her mom, and for us to have kids, and then her mom could stay home and take care of the kids, and I could do whatever I wanted. I mean, some of it sounded really good, but living together with her and her mom and all the time, I didn't even know her yet. I didn't know her mom, and I was like, I'm too independent to accept that situation. I couldn't do it. So I didn't even date her because she just wanted to skip all of the dating and stuff and go straight to marriage. And she said, I don't want to live outside of China. I want to stay here. I've got my life and my business here, and I want my mom to live with us so I can take care of her. And I said, I respect all of that. You're very clear about what you want, but I don't want to stay in China permanently. I can't do it. Next pitch to Santander, low and inside, 1-1. Cam Schlittler still on the mound for the Yankees. He's had a pretty good game. 5 hits, no earned runs, actually. Here's the pitch. That's in there, strike 2, 1-2's the count. Finish them, Bluebird Shake says. Judge saw, yeah, but they walked him. But the steal attempt was funny. Fouled off. The count remains 1-2. Yeah, Shake. There are a lot of Astros fans that want the same thing. It's easier also for the Astros to like the Blue Jays than to like the Yankees. High and outside, 97 miles an hour. The count is 2-2 to Santander. Yeah, that's right. Like the Blue Jays because of Springer, also beating the Yanks. Hell no to the no, 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 no. Hell to the no. Yeah, that's exactly right. I think it's even worse in Vietnam. Whoa. Look at that. Nice grab at third base in foul territory. Slipped and fell down. He almost missed it because he slipped and fell. Wow. Nice catch. Needs to work on the footwork a little bit. Catch was good. Footwork not so much. Santander flies out, or fouls out, rather. Ernie Clement comes to the plate. It's the top of the seventh, guys and gals. The Blue Jays are up 2-1. Ernie Clement at the plate now. He's 1 for 2 today. Andres Jimenez on deck. Here comes the pitch. He hits that one out into right center, and that's going to be down. Judge grabs it and brings it in. A single for Clement. He's on first base with 1 out. Statue on first. Landon says, do you expect us to come back? Just got out of church. I really don't have any expectations, Landon, about this game. Blue Jays win or Yankees win, neither one surprises me. I would say that if I had to pick one team to win, it would be the Blue Jays, just because I think that they win this series. But would I be surprised if the Yankees were to win? No, not really. I would be disappointed a little bit, maybe. George Springer on deck. Jimenez at the plate with a 0-1 pitch or 0-1 count. Speaking of pitch, here comes the toss. Runner on first base. Ooh, should have let that one go. Too far inside. Swing and a miss. 0-2's the count. Look at that one. That almost hit his shoulder. Phillies, Dodgers. Go Phillies. Go Phils. Here's the 0-2 pitch. A check swing. He's able to hold up on that one, though. That was a 97-mile-per-hour pitch. High and outside. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Devin Williams in the bullpen. He's been out there warming up a little bit here and there since last inning, I think. Boone hasn't pulled Schlittler out yet. He's up to 87 pitches. That's up the middle. Chisholm can't handle it. And we're going to have runners on first and third. Jazz Chisholm can't handle the rocket from Jimenez up the middle. Wow. Take a look at this. Right up the middle. That's got to be an error. And he was just looking at his glove like, hey, there's the surrender cobra. That's going to be it. Schlittler's out, finally. They finally actually take him out of the game. The Blue Jays have gotten 8 hits off of Schlittler, but they've only scored 2 unearned runs. Boone finally pulls him out after 7 1/3 innings. Runners on the corners for George Springer. George Springer. Short little break. Ernie Clement is batting 600. Yeah, 643. And his OPS is 1.529. But check this out. Varsho's OPS is 1.567, and Guerrero Jr.'s OPS is 1.681. That's crazy, isn't it? Clement, Varsho, and Guerrero Jr., their batting averages and OPS are insane right now. Guerrero batting 563, Varsho batting 467, and Clement batting 643. That's insane. Isn't it insane? You want the Springer Dinger? The Springer Dingly Doo? The Springer Dinger. I feel like it's afternoon right now. It's nice and sunny outside, but it's only 10:15 in the morning. It'll be nice to have a game over before noon. I hope this one doesn't go into extra innings. I haven't had a game over before noon in a while. And honestly, I think tomorrow's a day off. Even though we're going to have at least one extra game on Friday for you guys. Saturday for me. It'll be nice to have a day off tomorrow. Devin Williams is in the game to face Springer. 85 in the bottom of the zone on the changeup. Swing and a miss. Strike one. Sure you like the live stream for me if you don't mind. I'd really appreciate that. Here comes the next pitch to Springer. Swing and a miss. 85 low and away. Another changeup. Back-to-back changeups. Oh, and 2's the count. One out. Runners on the corners. Come on, Springer. The Blue Jays need you. He bounces that one foul down the third baseline. The count remains 0-2. Got 39 likes on the live stream. Need about 11 more to get to 50. 11 more likes. Lock it in, Springer, says Shake. Here comes the 0-2 pitch. Low and inside. Takes that one. That changeup had a lot more movement on it. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Yeah, he's just been throwing him those changeups, Shake. Jay. Here's a toss. Swings and fouls it off. Almost strike 3, but not caught by the catcher. Another changeup. The count remains 1-2. Absolutely, Shake. It's free. Click that like button. Top of the 7th. Runners on the corners with 1 out for the Blue Jays. Devin Williams is in the game, replacing Schlittler. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Springer. Bounces that one foul. Another changeup. So Springer is getting the bat on the changeup more and more. But is he going to try to sneak the fastball by him? You never know. You never know. Springer's OPS is 811, but his batting average in the postseason is only 200. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. And there's a steal to second base. So Jimenez steals second base. So the Blue Jays have runners on second and third, but Springer goes down, and that's out number 2. Nathan Lucas at the plate. Up and outside, ball one. Fly out, ground out. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. And he hits that one out into left field. That's going to score at least one run. They wave the next runner in, and it's cut off. That's 2 runs for the Blue Jays. 4-1. Opposite field hit for Lucas right over the head of the shortstop. Right over Volpe's head. Right over Volpe. Nathan Lucas comes through with the opposite field line drive hit, and that brings up Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Big swing and a foul at the plate. 4-1. And the crowd is really quiet right now. I guess the Yankees fans are going to start praying again. Getting all religious. Elimination is just a couple of innings away. Here comes the 0-1 pitch. Low and outside. 1-1. Shake says, let's go. I forgot to check on the Rockets. Let's take a look and see what the Rockets are doing right quick. Should it be halftime? Oh, no, this stream was taken down. That pitch is fouled off by Guerrero. Lucas was stealing second. He's going to have to go back. 2 outs. Lucas on first base. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Guerrero Jr. Throw over to first base, but Lucas goes back. Check this out. Rockets are up over the Jazz at halftime, 67-61. They suddenly started scoring a lot of points. Started off kind of slow and then came back and went kind of crazy. Check swing. Did he go around? They say he did not. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Kevin Durant is 3 for 6 in his field goals. He has 8 points. Thompson has 19 and Smith Jr. has 11 for the Rockets. Here comes the 2 ball 2 strike pitch. Low and inside, 3-2. Guerrero is swinging at those strikes and letting the balls go. Got a good eye right now. Here comes the full count pitch. In the dirt, ball 4. Man, what a good at bat. Professional at bat there by Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and he walks. Now there are 2 runners on. First and second with Addison Barger at the plate with Devin Williams on the mound. Barger is 3 for 3. 48% chance to get another hit tonight, according to the stats. They're having a meeting on the mound. Addison Barger at the plate with 2 outs and 2 on. Here in the top of the 7th, here comes a pitch. Outside. The Blue Jays have already scored 2 runs this inning and increased their lead by 3. It's 4-1. Look at that. Yankees fans are already giving up. Swing and a miss, 83 on the changeup, low and away. 1 ball, 1 strike. Man, look at this channel. This channel just has the live scoreboard. It has 442,000 subscribers. That's crazy. I want 440,000 subscribers. Hi. Ball 2, 2-1. Current subscribers right now, I'm not quite at 1320 yet. I've got a ways to go to get to 440,000 or whatever it is. Fouled off down the line to third base, opposite field. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Barger. That is crazy, though. I want to see what in the world are they doing to get 442,000 subscribers. I need to do that. They just posting live scoreboards? What in the world are they doing? Here's the pitch. Fouled off again. Count remains 2-2. I do have a really nice NFL scoreboard, though. You can't tell me that that's not a great looking scoreboard. That's awesome. And it even has me on it. Yay. That pitch is taken for ball 3. Full count. Guerrero Jr. took the full count in the walk. And now Barger has the full count. Here comes the pitch. Fouled off at the plate. Count remains 3-2. They don't have the pitch count? See, that's kind of the thing that bothers me, Shake. I know they say, well, it takes time, the algorithm and stuff and blah 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 blah. I understand all that, but sometimes I see channels start after mine, after my channel, and then suddenly they're at 10,000 subscribers. I'm like, how in the world is that happening? Looks like that's going to be out number 3. Fly ball to left field. Bellinger puts it away. And that's it. But Nathan Lucas puts the Blue Jays up by 3 with that 2-run hit in the top of the 7th. Sad face on a lot of the Yankees fans there. But the game's not over. There's no reason to feel sad right now. It's just a 3-run game. You got 3 innings left. You're the home team. And look at the guys you got on the squad, It's not like they can't come back. Don't give up. Don't give up so easily. Bottom of the 7th coming up. Paul Goldschmidt, Austin Wells, and Anthony Volpe due up. Yeah, Jay, I mean, there's always a little bit of that. Shake says that my channel's great. I appreciate that. I really do. Unmatched. Talking Inks doesn't even have a pitch count. I will say that that's one of the things that I don't get. Even some of the popular channels, like right now, guys, if you go over to look at John Boy Media's live stream, they're probably doing a live reaction to this game because, he's a Yankees fan. And they're just sitting there in recliners in a room full of a bunch of sponsored crap. They've got stacks and stacks of Mountain Dew in the corner. And they've got other sponsored stuff just sitting around in the room. And there's no telling how much money he's getting paid for those things. And they've got however many, I don't know, a few 100,000 subs or something. I don't know. But they're getting 2,000 to 3,000 views or more per live stream, or at least viewers at a time. But they're getting more than 10,000 views per live stream. It's really ridiculous numbers. But when you look on his screen, you see basically the score and the inning. That's it. And you're not getting live play-by-play. You're not even really getting commentary. They're just yelling at the screen. They're watching the TV. You can't see the TV. You can't hear the TV. Of course, they would get copyrighted for that. But they're not giving you the live play-by-play. They're not they're not commenting about what's happening in the game. They might be sitting there saying, "Oh, judge, no, no, judge, no, why, judge, no." And you're like, "What happened? I don't know what happened." They don't even say, "No, judge swung at a terrible pitch and he's out. That's strike 3." Or they don't give you any real detail. They just I mean, who would watch that? Who watches that garbage? To me, that's pure garbage. Seriously, imagine my live stream as it is right now, but instead of doing any live play-by-play, I just sit here and I watch the game, and you guys watch me watch the game. Do you realize how lame that is? I'm sorry. That's one of those things I would list under the column of retarded. Why do people go on YouTube to watch someone else react to a video that they're watching instead of just watching the game or listening to the broadcast? You know, I'm doing a broadcast of the game. I'm calling a live play-by-play of the game. So I'm telling you what's happening in the game. Similar to what you would hear on the radio. You listen to the commentators on the radio. You can't see the game, so they will tell you what's happening, right? And that's what I'm doing here. But why would you watch somebody watching the game and you're not getting any information? You're just watching their response to the game. To me, that's just lame. It's stupid. It's retarded. It's lame. I don't understand it. Anyway, bottom of the 7th, the Yankees are due up in just a moment. Yeah, they're talking about sleepless in Seattle, the Tigers trailing and coming back. Paul Goldschmidt is due up in just a moment. It looks like Brendan Little is going to be in the game for the Blue Jays. But Jay, that's the other thing you mentioned. Not to be a hater, there's a chance they're probably cheating. I know there's some of that going on, and a lot of the subscribers are fake and all of that. And actually having high quality subscribers, and even if you have less subscribers, if you have a quality loyal fan base, it's much more valuable. But the thing is, once you get thousands and thousands of subscribers and you try to show, "Oh, I'm getting all these views, I'm getting all these subscribers," you can start using that to market, to try to sell sponsorships and stuff like that. Patty says, "Have you thought about advertising products?" Of course, definitely, but I haven't had anybody reach out to me, and I don't know who to contact about doing product advertisements. So I would love to have a sponsor. But here's the other thing, Patty. I could check into some things that a lot of people are doing, but I refuse. For example, I could be doing sports betting and gambling, but I don't believe in that. So you'll never see it on my channel. That's good money, and it's easy to get that sponsorship, but I won't do that. Not on my channel. One ball, no strikes. Inside, ball 2. Goldschmidt facing Brendan Little on the mound. Blue Jays already have another pitcher warming up, getting loose in the bullpen. Here's a 2-0 pitch to Goldschmidt. 93 on the inside edge, strike 1. 2-1 is the count. Marduk says that listening to me is kind of like bringing back feelings of listening to the radio broadcast when I was younger with my dad. I appreciate that. That's pretty cool. Anita Martini was the popular radio Astros game caller when I was younger. Milo Davis. Do you remember Milo Davis? Here's the 3-1 pitch. Inside, ball 4. Leadoff walk. And they're going to immediately call the bullpen. I think they're going to put him on a short leash. Mr. Brendan Little. Austin Wells due up next. Here comes the first pitch. Swing and a miss. Nice knuckle curve. 0-1 is the count. Yes, Shake is correct. Subscribe and hit the like. At the very least, I know that not everybody can donate, but, and not everybody wants to subscribe. Some people are just listening in. The majority of my listeners and viewers do not subscribe. I would appreciate the subscription very much, but I can understand that people either don't want to subscribe or they don't feel that they're going to be here long enough to subscribe. They're just going to listen to some of these playoff games, then they'll be gone. They won't be listening to my Texans or Rockets broadcasts. I can understand that. But a like on the live stream is the very least that people can do. That's a ball. Look at that over there. He's holding 3 bats. He was warming up with 3 bats. What the heck is that about? He hits that high fly ball into deep center field all the way back to the warning track. Grabs it. Whoo! The crowd cheered there. Goldschmidt's going to have to go back to first base. Out number 1. Man, you should have seen Brendan Little's head whip around when that ball got hit out there. Yankees fans thought that was gone. 1 down. Volpe was on deck swinging 3 bats. 2 of those bats had weights on them. I guess he thinks it's going to turn him into the Flash. I guess we'll find out. Yeah. Oh, yes. Milo Hamilton. My bad. Milo Hamilton. That's what I meant. Thank you. What did I say? What was I mixing his name with Miles Davis? Milo Davis? Crazy. He passed in 2015. Anita passed in 93. Wow. Time flies. Here's the pitch. Volpe shows bunt and takes it for a ball. So Volpe's over there on deck swinging 3 bats, and then he shows bunt. This guy is a riot. Runner on first base with 1 out. Here's the 1-0 pitch. Right in there. Strike 1. 94-mile-per-hour cutter. Daryl got my like in. Thank you so much, Daryl. I appreciate ya. 62 current viewers. Haven't gotten to 1310 or 1320 subscribers yet, but we're getting there. 92 on that outside edge, strike 2. So Volpe does all that practice swinging, and the only thing he's done at bat so far is pretend to bunt and take 2 strikes. Look at it. Look at him. He's saying, swing the blanking bat. Here comes the 1-2 pitch. And he does swing that time, but it's in the dirt, and that's strike 3. And the crowd, look at them. They're putting their heads down, and they are booing. See, this is where they bring in the hate. This is the thing about the New York fans. They're giving Volpe absolutely no love at all. There we go, right there. 2 outs. 1 out left in the bottom of the 7th. It looks like McMahon is out. We got a pinch hitter. Here's the first pitch to Rosario. Haven't seen Rosario in a good little bit. He's batting 276 for the season. For the postseason, he's 2 for 8 with a 625 OPS. 0-1 is the count with 2 outs, runner on first. Here's the pitch for Mr. Brendan Little. Hey, hits one right up the middle. Rosario pinch hit works out. He gets a single. Runners on first and second with 2 outs. That's going to send the top of the batting order up for the Yankees, starting with Trent Grisham. Patty says my MLB broadcasts on YouTube are second to no one. Thank you. Thank you. None that I've found. Just keep doing it. Maybe football, like the red zone. Yep. I've got a really cool layout, I think, for my Texans broadcast. And I'm really happy and excited about doing some more of those games. I found that I really, really enjoyed doing the Texans game. I think it's going to be enjoyable for me. And the dirt, Kirk stops it, quickly is able to get it, keep the runners from moving around. 1 ball, no strikes to Grisham. But I do appreciate you saying that, Patty. I really do. That's another thing that feels kind of frustrating because I've had a lot of people say stuff like that to me, but yet the subscribers and I get no offers for sponsorships and the subscribers move up so slowly. It's ridiculous to me. Right in there, 94 miles an hour. The cutter gets the strike one call. It's 1-1 to Grisham. Look, yeah, poor Yankees fans. They are some of the most pitiful looking. 93 outside is fouled to the left side. Has he got it? Yes, he does. Good catch. And he lays down on the rain tarp and he tosses it over to the crowd. Little freaks out because he gets through it. All right. So the Blue Jays get through the bottom of the 7th without any damage done. They preserve their lead. They are up 4-1. 9 hits for the Blue Jays, 3 for the Yankees. Let's do a quick Marduk official, unofficial lobster update. The Yankees have 12 lobsters in this game, 12 guys that they have not moved around on base. The Blue Jays have 17 that they have not moved around, 17 lobsters. Now, that's not good at all. It's not good at all. Even with 4 runs, that's not good. That means that they've had a lot more opportunities, though. That aspect is good, but not moving them around is definitely bad. Marduk says, Yank fans, turn on your team publicly for the world to see. Turn on your team publicly for the world to see. They always do. You know, the Yankees being in the playoffs just exposes their fans even more, right? Travis says, here to leave the like and also possibly see the Yankees lose again. Solka. Jesse says a couple more innings and Blue Jays go to the ALCS if they maintain the win. Hello, everyone. A bit late coming from work. Yeah, I gotcha. I figured you meant ALCS. I'm not gonna dog you for that typo. But yeah, that's what it's looking like. And Scottish Summit Desta, thank you for your hard work today, Jesse. Travis says, here. Yes. Yeah, I gotcha. No big deal. Jesse says, what do y'all think? Or who do y'all think is going to the ALCS between Seattle and Detroit? Well, you know, even though Detroit had a really good game today, I'm My pick was Seattle. Who would I prefer to go through? If I had to choose, I would pick the Tigers. But I wouldn't say that I'm confident that they'll do it. But if they do, okay, so be it. But if I had to bet money, who's going to win between the Mariners and the Tigers, I would say the Mariners. But I wouldn't be surprised if the Tigers were to win. Captain Kirk, Alejandro T. Kirk, is at the plate. That's strike one. Camilo Duvall on the mound. Facing Alejandro Kirk. Varsho on deck. Miles Straw is actually going to be in the game for Santander. He's in the hole. 1 ball, 1 strike now to Kirk. Here comes a 1-1 pitch. Whoa, inside. A little too far inside. Almost clipped him. 2 balls and 1 strike. Blue Jays still have 5 guys in the bullpen. Here's the toss. That's a chopper down the third base line all the way out to the wall. Kirk is going to head to second. All right. Toronto Blue Jays Altuve gets a double right down the line. That is not a fast runner, that's for sure. He's more of a wobbler than a runner. But it was just a perfectly placed hit all the way out to the wall. They were not playing, man, they were playing him way over. They were not expecting him to pull the ball at all. Leadoff double for the Blue Jays. Dalton Varsho at the plate. High and outside, 99 miles an hour, ball 1. Travis says the BJs have gotten hot at the right time. Yes, I also find it funny that you can call them the BJs. Yes, the thought has crossed my mind as well. Here's the pitch. That's hit hard into right field. It's pretty deep. Judge is back. Is there going to be a little tag? Not. Yeah, Kirk does tag. He's not the speed demon that the other guys are, but he's hit deep enough for even Kirk to get to third. Runner on third with 1 out. Miles Straw comes to the plate for his first at bat. Anthony Santander is taking a break now. Hey, it's funny, Marduk. You're really not as funny as go calling the Yank fella Chaz Chisholm. I think I've made that error several times, and I was wondering why am I doing that? But I think that whenever the Astros were playing them before, I said that on purpose, and since then it's just kind of stuck. 98 miles an hour right in there, strike 1 to Miles Straw. See, that's the problem, is that sometimes whenever I'm calling the game for the Astros, I will poke fun at the other players, right? And call them by these silly nicknames. But whenever I'm doing a game between 2 teams that are not the Astros, I have to remind myself, it doesn't make any sense to make fun of their names, right? And to poke fun. I mean, who am I calling the game for? You know what I'm saying? 0-2 is the count against Straw. And Straw hits it out into right field. That's going to score Kirk. Opposite field hit. He just golfs it out there just like he's got a pitching wedge. 5-1 Blue Jays. 11 hits now for the BJs. Just went down there on the very end of the bat and just kind of scooped it out there. A little ping, sand wedge, pitching wedge. Easy hit out into right field. Captain Kirk scores from third base. Runner on first with 1 out. 5-1. They throw it over to first, but Straw gets back. Ernie Clement is now at the plate for the Blue Jays. Too many Big Macs. Yeah. You think he's had a lot of Big Macs. You should see some of the guys on the Rangers team. Even Jake Berger. I mean, his name is Berger. Whoa! Clement gets nailed with a 96-mile-per-hour pitch. And they're saying calm down, but Clement is PO'd. They're trying to check on him. He's like, get out of my face. Get out of my face. Can't believe he hit me. He's still shaking his head. He's like, what kind of crap was that? You got to see this replay. Take a look at this. Woo! Went straight at his head. Got him on the shoulder. Close up. Whoa! Barely got his shoulder. He almost hit him in the head. He's like, that's my bad. At least he said, hey, that's my bad. And Clement is like, dude, what are you freaking doing, man? Wow. Runners on first and second with 1 out. And they're going to pull Duvall, looks like. Timeout. We go to a commercial break. Wow. Give me 1 moment. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. I almost said go Stros. Man, it feels chilly. Feels chilly in here, even in the other room. What is the temperature outside? Because it has not gotten warmer in here, so it must be chilly outside. What is the temp? It says it's 22 degrees. There's no way, unless now I will say this, my old house, man, it is really good at keeping the temperature. So if the house cools down at night, it will stay cool all day long. It's the beauty of these old Japanese houses, man. Once they get cool, they will stay cool. But it's a downside during the summer. I mean, during the winter time. Once it gets cold outside and cold in here, ooh, you're just kind of screwed. It is so cold. David Bednar is on the mound for the Yankees. 1 ball, no strikes to Jimenez. 1 for 3 today with a single in the 5th. He's got 1 run scored and a stolen base. Here comes the next toss. Hit to the opposite side, backhanded by Volpe. Goes to Chisholm, and then over to first base. Did they get him at first? No. They get 1 at second. But Jimenez gets to first base. So runners on the corners with 2 outs. For George Springer. Springer started off really nice today with a beautiful double. But after that, he's just been kind of shut down. I think I'm going to get myself an Americano-style coffee. A weak cup of coffee. Here's the first pitch to Springer. Low and outside, ball 1. Travis says, always liked Straw, never had great offense, but the defense was good. However, I've always been more excited by defense. Flashing leather. I was a big Jake Marisnick fan. I got a lot of crap. I've always been impressed by good defense. 91 low. 2 balls and no strikes to Springer. We gonna get another Springer dinger? Springer's only had 1 home run in the postseason, hasn't he? He hasn't done a whole lot. His batting average is only 188, 763 OPS. 1 strikeout today. Speaking of strikes, that's in there for strike 1. 77-mile-per-hour curveball. It's 2-1. Runners on the corners, 2 outs, 2 balls, 1 strike. George Springer facing David Bednar. Blue Jays have Hoffman and Fisher warming up in the bullpen, not in the dugout. Foul tip miss, 78-mile-per-hour curveball. 2-2's the count. Donald Peterson says he was running in first gear. I think that's the only gear that Kirk has is first gear. He can't run any faster than first gear. Swing and a miss, 97 miles an hour, and that's strike 3, out 3. 97 miles an hour from Bednar. Bednar puts the Blue Jays to Bednar, but not before they get another run on the board. A double by the slowest guy on the team, Alejandro Captain Kirk. And then a sacrifice out to right field moved him over to third. And then another single drove him home. So the Blue Jays pick up 1 more, and they're up by 4 going into the bottom of the 8th. The Yankees are starting to, they're about to be put on life support. They're in the ER right now, getting checked out. Heart palpitations and all that. Got about 66 people. Hey, we're over 1320 now on the subscribers. Thank you so much. It looks like we've picked up around 10 subscribers today, or at least during this broadcast. So that's great. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you being here. Just so you know, I will be doing the rest of these AL games, the ALDS, then I'll be doing the ALCS, and then the World Series. I'll be doing all of those games. So I hope you can join me for those. I mean, everybody under the sun is going to be calling and doing reaction videos and watch-alongs for the World Series, and I'm sure that I won't have a ton of viewers for those, but I do hope that those of you who enjoy what I do here will be able to join me. I'm going to hopefully have the same format where I have all the information on the screen. I'm thinking that if I have a little bit of time, I might be able to slightly add a couple of additions to upgrade my scoreboard and my screen information. For example, one of the additions that I want to add by the World Series is to actually have the current pitcher's portrait on screen, because you notice I have the batter's picture on screen, right? I would also like to have the current pitcher on screen. Right now I have the names of the pitchers, but I don't have the pictures. Now I might be able to just add a couple of small pictures so that you can see the pictures of the pitchers, but I have to arrange it and work it with the AI, and I'm still in the process of making my NBA overlay. So it takes a little bit of time to get it all sorted out. I'm still working on it. And on top of that, I have some tweaks and fixes to make for my Texans football scoreboard. So I'm working it out. Aaron Judge is at the plate, takes that first pitch outside. Braden Fisher is on the mound for the Blue Jays. 1-0 is the count. Bottom of the 8th. Low and outside, 2-0. Yeah, he went for the cheekbone all right. Looked like he went for the back of the head. Jesse says, I think the Phils are done. They need 3 straight wins, which I doubt, but who knows? They have home field advantage. Well, yeah, Jesse, I'm with you there. I mean, I'd like for them to come back, but they're going to need a lot of luck. 2 balls and 1 strike now to Judge. That last pitch was in there. Here's the pitch. Fouled back. 89 miles an hour. 2-2 is the count. Dodgers take the lead on a Tommy Edman homer. Figures. Freaking draft Dodgers. Daryl says, go Blue Jays. Win one for the Gipper. Haven't heard that expression in a while. The Yankees on the brink of elimination. Can they come back? Hold on to your seats. See you next time. Same bat time, same bat channel. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Judge strikes out. Don't see that very often recently. Good pitch by Braden Fisher. Oh my gosh, if Judge can't do it, no one can. Yankees fans like, boo, boo, you suck, boo. How dare you, boo. That's going to be Judge's last bat of 2025. I bet you. There's the pitch. Bellinger at the plate. Right in there, strike one. Judge's last bat of 2025 is a strikeout. Swinging strikeout. Here's the toss to Bellinger. A little high, 1-1. Sergio says, ¿Qué pasa, amigo? Genki desu ka? Oh, you're mixing up the Espanol and the Nihongo. Genki da yo. How about you? Some woman in the stand is yelling, I got it, I got it, I got it. Be quiet, woman. That's a fly ball to the infield. Bellinger goes down, and that's 2 away. Giancarlo Stanton is due up next. I'll tell you what, though, Stanton is the one guy I was surprised about not having a good postseason. He grounds that one up the middle. As soon as I say that, he gets a hit. But it might be too little too late. Stan's batting average is a 160. It just went up to 192 with a 536 OPS. Today, he's got 1 hit, and that's the one he just got. Here is the pitch. Low and outside. Ball 1 to Jazz Chisholm. These guys with the upturned collars just look like jerks. Here comes the 1-0 pitch. That's in there, 1-1. A little above the zone. Jazz thought it was a little high. I agree with you. I thought so too, but it is what it is. 1-1. Yankees total payroll, Marduk says, is $300 million. Holy cow. That's in there. 83. Upper outer corner. Strike 2. 1-2 is the count. 200 million for active players, 100 million for IR retained and minor leaguers. Wow. Yeah. Same here. Wow. How does that compare to the Dodgers, Marduk? I wonder. 85 just inside. That's a dangerous pitch to take with a 2-strike count. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Braden Fisher facing Jazz Chisholm. Stanton on first base. 2 outs, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Maybe it's just too much for the Yankees. Here's the pitch. This is hit foul on the left side. Varsho runs over, and it's about 5 rows back. Longest World Series title droughts for the Yankees. 19, 16, 15, and 14. When they lose today, it'll be 16. They'll be tied for the second longest drought ever. And that includes the 1994 strike. That last one. Here comes the pitch. That's hit hard to right field, but 2 vertical. Is it going to be playable? No, he runs out of room. Clement runs into the sidewall, but he seems okay. He dropped his hat. You lost your hat, guy. You lost your hat. Astros payroll is 233 million, 140 million for active roster players. Interesting. Travis says, oddly enough, Jake Marisnik was center fielder for Astros number 6. Then we got Jake Myers, also center fielder number 6. Couple of Jakes, and Jake is known for his good fielding. I mean, he doesn't have a really strong arm, but he's fast and he's a good fielder. He's excellent. Here's a 2-2 pitch after a long delay from Fisher. High and outside, full count. Donald says, I will definitely be here Friday for the Tiger Mariner game. Good. I will see you here, Donald. Thank you so much. And then the next day, I'll be doing the ALCS. That's high, ball 4. Jazz Chisholm walks. That's 2 runners on. Paul Goldschmidt comes to the plate with 2 runners on and 2 outs. Ben Rice is going to pinch hit. And John Schneider comes out of the dugout for the Jays, rather. Yeah, they're not going to let Braden Fisher pitch to Ben Rice. So we're going to have a short little break here while the pitcher gets warmed up. First and second with 2 gone. Ben Rice pinch hitting for Paul Goldschmidt. And we'll be back in just a minute after the pitcher is warmed up. Jesse says, not sure y'all read McTaggart's article on 5 questions Stros must address, but injury mitigation wasn't one of them. Really? Not sure. This just Brian's perspective or a sense of Stros organization. What were his points? Do you remember his points, Jesse? But yeah, the injury mitigation thing is a primary concern. And by the way, I have a video. Some of you saw the video. I showed it yesterday during the rain delay. But I have a video that was made with deep research by the AI tool. It went online and it gathered a bunch of information, read a lot of articles, studied a lot about the Astros 2025 season, all the problems they had and everything that pretty much could be done and what it thinks needs to be done for 2026. And guess what number 1 was on that list? Injury mitigation. Putting systems in place to keep the players from getting injured and to monitor pitch counts and properly arrange rest schedules, etc. Improve the support or replace people as needed in the medical staff and the personal training staff. It was a priority according to the AI. It was the most important thing the Astros needed to do. So it's hilarious and crazy that McTaggart didn't mention it at all. I wonder if he was paid not to mention that. Schwarber just tied it. So the Phillies and the Dodgers are tied up. Take a quick look. Wow, a 3-run shot. Schwarber took. Oh, it's 3-1 right now. Look at that. The Phillies are winning 3-1 in the 4th. They still have a runner on second. They might get another run out of this. Nice. How about that? 3-1 in the 4th inning. The Phillies over the Dodgers, and they got a runner on second with 2 outs. That's great. Just like McDonald's, I'm loving it. I'm loving it. Let's get back to the Blue Jays and Yankees. They should be back up, and they are. They almost picked Stanton off at second base, but he was able to get back in time. Okay, here we go. Jeff Hoffman is on the mound for the Blue Jays with the 1-0 count to Ben Rice. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, 90-mile-per-hour splitter right in there. 1-1. The Yankees have runners on first and second with 2 outs. Yanks can't blame Strohs, that's for sure. Yep. Can only point the fingers at themselves. They'll find a way to blame Altuve, though. It's Altuve's fault why the Yankees can't win the series. 2 balls and 1 strike to Ben Rice. Thank you for the streams today. You're welcome, George. Thank you for being here to support the channel. I appreciate that. And thanks to everyone who's donated today. I really do appreciate it. Thanks to everyone who's liked the videos. Thanks to everyone who's let the stream play. Even something like that really helps me out. There's a viewing duration and how long people watch a video is actually quite important to YouTube. So the longer that is, the average per viewer, the better it appears to YouTube. Here's the 3-1 pitch. Swing and a miss. 97 miles an hour on an inside pitch, and it's a full count to Ben Rice. Fried lice. Yes, fried lice is at the plate. Have you been lice? No, but I've been swinging and missing fastballs. I saw the surrender cobra in the stand again. Rice fouls it off. The count stays 3-2. All night, my phone has 5% left. All right, rather. I'll see you all Friday. Okay, Donald, thank you so much. Have a good night. Go charge your phone. George says, cool videos yesterday. Thanks, George. I appreciate that. I can't wait to... I'll finish that one up today, the animated one. I'll post it later. Here comes the 3-2 pitch. Outside, ball 4. And they say he didn't swing on the check swing. The tying run comes to the plate. Two outs, everyone. Bottom of the 8th. Bases loaded. Austin Wells at the plate. Down by 4. He hits this one high out into left field, but it's going to be playable. Varsho's under it. Puts it away. They get nothing with bases loaded. The crowd was really thinking something was going to happen there. But Hoffman gets out of it. 5-1. We go into the top of the 9th. Nathan Lukes, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and Addison Barger are due up. Wow, 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 wow. The Rockets and the Jazz are in the 4th with about 3.5 left. 130 to 121. Green has 10 points. Other players are taking a break right now. Durant has 20 points, 7 for 10 from the field, 5 for 5 on his free throws. Who else has points? Bailey, 23 points, 10 for 15, 1 for 1 on free throws. 8 points for Nurkic. Oh, that's Jazz player. Thompson, 7 rebounds, 4 defensive rebounds, 3 offensive. Sengun, 13 assists. Wow, 13 assists. Crazy. Yeah, check this out. Houston only scored 23 in the first quarter, but in the second quarter they scored 44. The Jazz scored 36. I mean, look how many points that both teams scored in the second quarter. That's insane. 44 and 36, and then both scored 40 in the third. Man, the second and third were insane. The Rockets scored 88 points in 2 quarters. That is nuts. I mean, heck, the Jazz scored 76 in 2 quarters. The score is ridiculous right now, 130 to 121. That's nuts. Only 2 fan bases I can take some enjoyment in their team losing, Dodgers and Yankees. Oh, man. Paul, good to see you, by the way. What do you think about the Mariners fan base, though? I don't necessarily like and the Phillies fan base. I don't necessarily like those fan bases. It's sad because some of these teams, they have a they have a history, you know. They have a legacy, and maybe even they have some good players. And I don't necessarily have anything against the team themselves, but the fans just make it intolerable to respect those teams. That's hit hard into right field, all the way out to the wall. It's in the corner. That's fair. The very first pitch, Nathan Lucas gets himself a double. He slides in at second. The very first pitch. One pitch, one double. The crowd is very quiet right now. I'm surprised they're not booing. I guess they all left. Many blank seats. You can see in the background there, many empty seats. Still got a lot of people there, though, but some people have given up and left. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is at the plate with a runner on second. That first pitch is in there on the curve. 77 miles an hour, strike one. Yep, they blew it. I sure hope the Rockets are really good. Houston could use it. Frustrating year with all those injuries and everything for the Astros and falling short of the playoffs. Rough start for the Texans, but they've been coming back, so that's good. Turning it around. It'd be nice for the Rockets to have a solid season. If Durant can have a healthy, strong season, the Rockets can really have a good season. It's 1-2. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Bednar on the mound for the Yankees. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at the plate with his lovely 1.704 OPS. Here's a pitch. Grounded down to third. He holds the runner at second and fires over to first for the first out. Daryl says Rockets bringing it for sure. Yeah, Bo Bichette, Max Scherzer, Chris Bassett, not even on the ALDS roster. It's funny that they can miss these guys and still be doing so well. You know, it's they've got some depth. You know. Next batter is Addison Barger. He's 3 for 4 today. Here's a pitch, outside and high. Ball one. Sneezing time. Great to hear the Rockets doing well, says Rusty. Rusty Gamer. Top of the zone, strike one, 1-1. Goodness. Next pitch is in the bottom of the zone. Another strike. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Barger. Daryl says the Yankees are like a day-old burrito. A day-old patio burrito, one of those microwavable patio burritos. 94. Too low. 2-2 is the count. Barger at the plate. Looking for his 4th hit of the day. He's 3 for 4. Here comes the 2-2 pitch. Ooh, he struck him out swinging on a low pitch in the dirt inside. Went went chasing after it like he was digging the golf ball out of the sand trap. Alejandro Kirk. Captain Kirk comes to the plate. 1 for 4 with a nice double and a score. Here's the pitch. Fouls that one off. Marty says Astros fans, Verlander is again a free agent. What makes you think that Astros fans want Verlander to come back right now? Just say no. Just say no. Thank you for your service, Verlander, but no thank you. Not anymore. Fouled off. 0-2 is the count to Kirk. Runner on second base. Will the Blue Jays strand their base runner? 34 runs this series, 18 for New York, 50 hits for the Blue Jays, and 32 for New York. This is one burrito you can't return. You buy it, it's yours. Once you buy it, it's yours. Check swing on the high pitch, and that's a ball. 1-2. 97 miles an hour on that pitch. Everybody looking sad. All the Blue Jays fans standing around with their hands in their pockets. Nothing to do, I guess. Outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. '74 watching right now. Thanks for joining in. Maybe some of you are hanging around to see if the Yankees will come back, but I don't think it's going to happen. Here's the pitch. Swing and a miss. Strike 3. Kirk goes down, and that's the third out of the inning. All right, so the Yankees now are officially on life support as they go into the bottom of the ninth. They're down by 4 runs. They've only got 4 hits this entire game. A solo homer is the only thing that put them on the board. Let's see here. Take a look at the Phillies-Dodgers game right quick. Of course, it's on commercial break, but I can take a look at the score. It looks like the the top of the 5th is coming up. It's still 3-1. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is on the mound for the Dodgers. Nihonjin, Japanese. Paul says, I'm literally just watching the end of the game to see the crushed faces of Yankees fans in New York. Understandable. Jeff Hoffman is on the mound for the Blue Jays here in the bottom of the ninth. Anthony Volpe is due up, but they might have a pinch hitter, and it looks like they will. They're not going to let Volpe bat. Unless Volpe grew a beard suddenly. Jason Dominguez. Jason Dominguez will be the batter, pinch hitting for Volpe. Mardik says if we can get Verlander for under 10 million, might be a decent gamble, but he made 15 million in 2025, assuming he would want to retire his jersey in Detroit. But who knows what he's thinking. Yeah, that's the funny thing, Marduk. A lot of Astros fans I've noticed, they've kind of forgotten that his original home is not Houston. Because they were like, we should at least bring him back and let him retire here in Houston. This is his home. Not really. Here's the pitch. High and outside. Ball one. The count's 1-1 to Jason Dominguez. Yes, it is. The final countdown. Here's the toss. And this is hit hard into right center field, and it'll be down against the wall. Probably a double. Barshow grabs it and brings it in, but the pinch hitter, Jason Dominguez, gets it done with a leadoff hit for the Yankees, giving the crowd some hope. Ahmed Rosario is due up next. Marty says the owner, Crane and Justin, are tight. Yeah, but unless we got Verlander for just like a couple $1 million or something, I just don't see any reason to bring him back. And I don't know why he would come back here. If he's going to go somewhere, I think that he should go to Detroit. But just like what Marduk said, I have no idea what he's thinking. Unless he comes out and says something. I don't know. 1 ball, no strikes to Rosario. Here comes the pitch from Hoffman. Swing and a miss. Nice toss. Slider. Low and away. 1-1. Paul says, any other fans except for the Dodgers, I feel for, not Yankees fans. They think they're a downtrodden franchise who MLB doesn't do anything to protect. They are highly entitled, is what it is. First down. First out down, rather. Fly out to left field for Rosario. That brings up Trent Grisham. Runner on second with 1 out. 2 away from the 2025 season being over. Is Judge going to get another opportunity to come and bat? I thought his last at bat, that strikeout would be it. But if Trent grounds into a double play, then Judge will not bat again. But Judge has an opportunity. Here's a pitch. 87 right in there. Strike 1 to Grisham. But Dodgers fans also are very entitled. But the pure venom and lack of appreciation and gratitude, entitlement with Yankees fans is higher than anywhere else. That's for sure. 1 ball and 1 strike. Yeah, Jesse, I agree. Verlander's home is definitely not Houston. His original home is Detroit. Here's the pitch. High and outside. 2 balls and 1 strike. Shut this down, Blue Jays. John Boy's guys are looking very, very sad, and I'm here for it. I should go take a look and put that on the screen. Ground ball to first base. Guerrero throws it to Hoffman, who covers the bag and gets out number 2. Runner moves over to third base, but there are 2 outs. So Judge is going to get another at bat. Let's see. Let's pull up the old John Boy just for fun. Let's pull up the old John Boy live stream. He's got to be live right now, right? Swing and a miss by Judge. Strike one. Is he not live right now? I thought for sure he'd be live right now. I don't see him live. Next pitch to Judge. Swing and a miss. Wow, look at this. 2 outs. This is the entire season for the Yankees. Runner on third. All the religious Yankees fans are praying. The count is 0-2. Is Judge going to strike out for his last at bat of the season? Here's the pitch. In the dirt. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Ah, there it is. Here's the 1-2 pitch to Judge. He cranks it out to left field all the way out to the wall. It's off the wall. That'll score a run. And Judge will get a single off that, I believe. He can't get to second base. His last hit of the year is going to be an RBI. 5-2. Well, he deserves it. Yeah, he cranked it. Almost a line drive homer. Right off the middle of the wall. Right off the middle of the wall. Yeah. Look at that. Look at those poor guys. Bellinger fouls it off down the first base line, and that's strike one. look at him. Look at these guys. Look at those goobers. Here comes a pitch to Bellinger. Swing and a miss. 0-2 to Bellinger. Judge on first base, 2 outs. The Yankees are down by 3. Here comes the pitch. I'm going to switch over whenever they throw the pitch. In the dirt. They haven't moved at all. They look completely dejected. Subscribers only mode. I can't comment because I'm not a subscriber. All right. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Here comes the pitch. Swing and a miss. He struck him out. Let's go take a look. Let's take a look. Where's it at? How are they going to respond to the end of the game? Blue Jays win, baby. Blue Jays win. Toronto Blue Jays, first ALCS appearances 2016 in 9 years. All right. Look at them, man. They are done. They are cooked. You're not talking Yanks anymore, that's for sure. They're not even done yet. They're so far behind. Yeah, their live stream is so far behind, they don't even know yet that the game's over. That's crazy. Let me mute this game. Here it comes. I got the volume turned.
I don't have an OCC in me. Sorry, Valentino.
Come on, Cody.
Yeah, this is Bellinger's at bat where he strikes out.
That was a ball.
That's it.
Fun year except the summer.
That was how they responded to the strikeout. He just dropped the baseball. $300 million wasted. That's it. Blue Jays win. They're going to go to the
I say we
ALCS.
hire the Blue Jays hitting coach.
Fire the Blue Jays hitting, or hire. He said hire the Blue Jays hitting coach.
He doesn't.
It's all good. It's all good. Streaming it, yeah, really slow. Look how far behind he was. It was like 2 minutes. We were already done over here. That's crazy.
They're doing.
All right.
They're going to be a tough out.
12 hits for the for the Blue Jays rather. 6 hits for the Yankees. 5-2. The Blue Jays beat the Yankees 3 games to 1. They win it in 4. Good series.
Yeah.
So we won't be having a game 5.
Down to Ken
ALCS bound. There is George Springer.
This one is going to the American League Championship.
I got to turn that volume off. Sorry, I forgot about that. Special group. I'm proud of everybody, he says. What else does Springer say? If I said, tell me why the Blue Jays can win the World Series, what would you say? And George says, it's a brotherhood. A lot of work to be done, but we'll cross that bridge once we get to it. At this point, it's just such a good locker room, and I love it. It's a good culture. All right. That's it. Wow. Okay. So that's it for the Yankees and the Dodgers. The Yankees season is done. Not the Dodgers. That's it for I was looking at my screen up here. That's it for the Yankees and the Blue Jays. The Yankee season is done, but the Blue Jays move on, and they will play the winner of Saturday's game, which is Friday for you guys and gals. Right now, the Phillies and the Dodgers are playing still. It's going into the bottom of the 5th, 3-1. Phillies are up. They're trying to stay in it, stay competitive, and come back in the series. We'll see what happens. You never know. But thank you all for being here. I really do appreciate it. Did I miss anything? Not too much. We're going to Disney World. That's right. Marty, well, I could show, I could cover the Phillies and the Dodgers, but I think that the game is just, it's a little much for me to go for another game. The final $300 million Yankee lobster count, I can definitely give that to you. Let me go backwards. I have to go to the other screen because I switched over to the Dodgers screen. Let's see. What was the final left on base lobster count for today? Let's see. All right, total. Blue Jays had 25 lobsters. That is a ton. Now, they did have 5 runs, but considering how they had so many missed opportunities, they should have had at least 10 runs on the board, but they only had 5. But still, they had a lot of traffic. The Yankees had 18 lobsters and only 2 runs. That's even worse because out of 18 opportunities they missed, they should have had maybe 8 or 9 runs, but they only had 2. That's crazy. That's crazy. That's the $300 million Yankee lobster count. 18 guys left on base. Nuts. Yeah, I meant to check that, the final. Oh, somebody's here. Hang on, guys. I'll be right back. Oops. Ugh. Ugh. Well, it seems that I just received a package. Now, I had no idea that this was going to be here today. It's funny that it came right at the end of the live stream. But yeah, I wanted to show you real quick before I go over this. Oh man, I'm lightheaded and winded just from doing that. Take a look at this. The Rockets won 140 to 127. Man, 140 points. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. But yeah, let me take a look at the live chat right quick, and then I wanna take a look at this. I want to share this with you guys and gals. Yeah, let's see here. Yeah, the Rockets look good tonight beside the first quarter. You're right. I mean, they were a little soft on defense, I think, in the second and third quarter, but their offense was stellar. 140 points, that's nuts. That's absolutely nuts. Kobe says, "Thank you, cuz great stream." Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Kobe. I appreciate you being here. And you take it easy. Marduk says, "Thanks for the live streams today, Mr. Go." Thank you, Mr. Marduk. And thank you always for asking about the lobster count. It reminds me to drop it. It's funny because when I'm watching the Astros, I think about it all the time. I don't think about it as often with the other teams because I'm not criticizing them as much, you know? Uh, let's see. Yeah, that's right. 140 points for the Rockets. Brendan says New Jersey. New Jersey? New Jersey, the city, or New Jersey, like a new shirt? Let's see here. Oh, I need to change that as we push through this epic playoff. I need to change that message. There's no playoff race for the Astros anymore, that's for sure. But I am going to end this live stream right quick because I'm going to do another quick. I was thinking about putting this at the end of this live stream, but instead of doing that, I've got a special box here from America, and I need my other glasses to read this. The print. I've got two different pairs of glasses, one for reading small print and one for reading the computer out here. These are for reading the computer, so it's a little hard to see. Okay, yeah. This is from one of my subscribers. This is a package from one of my subscribers, and my subscriber Angel, he said that he would send me a care package, and I said you don't have to do that, but I'd appreciate it. You know, you're welcome to do it if you want. Just send me an email, and so he sent me an email, and he said basically send me a list of things that you might would need, and I had to think about it. You know, what kind of things that I could what kind of things could I really benefit from? You know, what kind of things are like comfort foods, and what are some things that I could benefit from that could help me out, or maybe some things that aren't as easy to get here in Japan. Kind of a combination of those questions. And I created kind of a list, and I sent a list, and I said, you know, just pick and choose whatever you want, but I don't expect you to send all of this. It's just a guide of things that I could either use or would like to have or difficult to get in Japan. And look at this. Ugh, this is heavy. Oh, it's very heavy. I got this big box, and I want to unbox it. I want to do a live unboxing with all of you. But if I do it right now on this live stream, I think it's the wrong live stream to do it. So what I was thinking about doing is starting a separate live stream and just having the taking the scoreboard off, right? Taking all of those things off, just have the video and do the unboxing right here. And I don't know if Angel is around right now, but if Angel's around, um, I would like to say thank you for sending this to me. I haven't opened it yet. I just got it. The guy just delivered it. I heard somebody outside, and when I went out there, it was the delivery man. It was the postman, and he handed it to me, and I carried it in. It's really heavy, so there's a lot of stuff in here. I can't wait to unbox it. But I think what I'll do right quick is I'll end this live stream. I will say thank you to all of you for your likes, your comments, all the good chat as usual. Thank you for viewing the live stream. Especially thank you for your donations. They are much, much appreciated. And not just well appreciated, but very much needed and useful for me to keep this community and channel going. So thank you so much. I appreciate that. I wish you all a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. And when I do this unboxing in just a little bit, I will go live and share it with you. I hope you can join me for that. Join me for that. Yep. Marty says, Angel, you the man, for sure. But we'll see what Angel sent me in just a moment. I'm going to hop off here, and I will start another live stream in just a bit. And we'll do the unboxing to see what kind of stuff I got in this care package from America. All the way from the U.S. right here in Hiroshima. But anyway, thank you all again. And I'll see you again in just a few minutes. Give me a few minutes to get this set up. And we'll take a look inside this care package. Okay? That's it for now. Thank you again for being here. See you in 2 days. Well, I'll see you for this video, and then I'll see you for the next game.